You don't see at the moment. Filling that vacant half in just moments will be East St. Louis Lincoln. We have some time now to go to an interview with Ola Bundy, the executive director of the IHSA. Let's do that now.
Hello. With Lenny Bias's death last spring, a good deal of national attention focused on drug abuse amongst collegiate athletes. The Illinois High School Association wanted to prevent the problem in Illinois high schools before it got to such a widespread abuse. With us now is Ola Bundy, who is the Assistant Executive Secretary of the Illinois State High School Association. She's also just recently been put in charge of the chemical abuse program. Ola, why did the State High School Association get involved?
The association became involved in this area because of the statistics that were being given to us on a national basis that high school students were having problems in the area of drug and alcohol abuse across the United States.
Did you find that Illinois was more of a problem than the rest of the country, or did we fall pretty well in the mean of those statistics?
At the present time, there hasn't really been any widespread research in Illinois in our high schools, and this is one of the reasons why we became involved, so that we in some way can help our high schools to gather the statistics among our students.
You've started a new program called Target. What is Target?
Target is a national program that was started by the National Federation of High School Associations, and the target of the program is helping students cope with alcohol and drugs. And the target will be for students to help students, and for teachers and coaches to help students to cope with the alcohol and drug abuse problems.
What are some of the specific things the IHSA has done, say, in the past 12 months?
In the past 12 months, we first, last spring, we conducted a survey of our 840.
The outside, he is a guy that they will look forward to for the perimeter shot. He will be joined in the backcourt by Chris Jones, a 6-foot senior, number 10. He also of the outside shot. In the front court will be number 50, Larry Latham, 6'4" senior. He's a guy that will bring the ball down, does a lot of dribbling himself for a big guy, and like everybody else, shoots outside. Also, number 5, Jason Gay, a 6'1" senior, and he too likes the outside shot in the transition game. In the middle, number 52, Bruce Bias, at 6'3", a junior. He has been their hottest scorer in their last dozen games, and they'll be looking for some scoring inside from Bias to try and offset the inside scoring of the Lockport Porters. The sound is deafening as the Lockport Porters are being introduced. They will be in their home white uniforms with the gold and maroon trim. It is St. Patrick's Day, and many even of the Porters are wearing of the green. So we wish you a very happy St. Patrick's Day. And as we meet the backcourt of the Lockport Porters, number 10 is Billy Madrilla. Madrilla, the point guard. He has stabilized this team since we started against Joliet West toward the end of the regular season. Mike Allen, who has been the starting point guard, has moved to the off-guard position and has been allowed to shoot more. That has been a help in the offense. And, of course, his defense along the baseline. Joe Jackson, the one with the colorful shoes, number 34. The 6'4" senior going to Northern Illinois. And a 6'4", number 44, Maurice Hamilton. He has had a great postseason tournament, as has Dave Mitterdero, the Channel 15 High School Athlete of the Week. He averaged 17 points and 5 rebounds in the sectional at Romeoville. And he will be, of course, the key to the middle. And, of course, the coach, Bob Bouchard, 496 wins and just 98 losses in 21 years.
Joe, did you see the Lockport crowd when they were announced? Oh, you can talk about getting excited. As soon as those student body rose, that adrenaline level had to rise about 3 octaves in all the players and the coaching staff. Coach Pasarich could have talked about before about not being too excited, but he's excited now.
The Lockport Porters with an enrollment of 2,269 against the Blue Devils of Quincy. Their enrollment at 1,752. Our officials for tonight's Supersectional game, Bill Cody of Glen Carbon and Donald G. Cobb of Wood River. The crowd on their feet as we are ready for the opening tip-off of this game between the two traditional powerhouses. Quincy co-champions of the Western Big Six Conference in blue, and the undefeated conference champions of the Sika West Division, the Lockport Porters. Maurice Hamilton will jump it up with number 4, Jimmy Bailey. And Hamilton gets the tip over to Middledale. No challenge from Quincy. And we are underway. The crowd back on their seats. Horton Fieldhouse seats 6,000. I would say we're looking at close to 4. And a double dribble against Billy Mandrola. An early turnover for the Porters.
Surprising. Quincy has always been known for their 1-2-2 basket defense, and they open up in a man-to-man. Don't know whether or not Coach Pasarich and the Lockport Porters expected that. Perhaps the reason for the turnover.
Chris Jones, number 10, brings the ball down along the right wing, and back out he goes to Bailey. Down low, they look, they find the open man. High off the glass, no good. And Joe Jackson there with the rebound. Interesting, Frank, how Quincy went inside on their first play. The Porters in control. Billy Mandrola out on the point to Mike Allen as we are on the floor level here at Horton Fieldhouse. They're looking for Middledale as usual down low, and the patient half-court offense of Lockport goes to work. Maurice Hamilton in the corner, out to Jackson, down low. Look at him, 3-on-1, couldn't get the shot away. No whistle. Middledale comes up with the ball right in front of us. Mandrola saves it for Lockport. Hamilton sees the opening, goes up, can't get it to go, gets his own rebound, back up for 2.
Quincy went to their 1-2-2 defense that time, which continued to be expected, and they also tried to sag and take away the basket away from Middledale.
Hamilton with the bucket. The Porters lead by 2. And again, we see the advantage of the Lockport front line. They got a couple offensive rebounds there, Frank Palmisani. And there is the outside shooting of Jason Gay, the 6'1" senior for Quincy, and he ties the game at 2. And we have seen 2 good examples of how these 2 teams will play today. The half-court inside game of Lockport gets their first bucket, and the outside perimeter shooting of Quincy gets their first score, as we are tied with 6:05 left to go in the first quarter play.
Joe, we had talked about this in the last game, about when you attack Lockport, you got to show different sets. That time we've seen Jerry Leggett use 2 different offensive sets in two series.
Knocked away by Bias, but the Porters recover the loose ball. And again, Quincy is coming in double-teaming Middledale when the ball comes toward him, as they are trying to shut off the paint. Hamilton, Jackson, the 18-footer off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound by number 50, Lathan, and here comes the fast full-court break, and the bucket by Jason Gay. Jason Gay with 4 points.
Perfect execution of the Quincy fast break. Rebound the ball, get the ball in the middle, execute to the side, jump shot.
And that's where Quincy's forte is. Chip the rebound out to the top of the circle and then rush it down a la LA Lakers. And they showed it with perfection on that last basket. 4-2 in favor of the Blue Devils. The Porters controlling their own end. Jackson down low for Middledale. He looks up, ball knocked away, and a foul against Quincy. The foul will go against Chris Jones. That will be his first team foul against Quincy.
Bob Pasarich right now has got both of his guards over there, Mandrola and Allen, and what he's talking to him about is turn the ball. Turn the ball as quickly as you can. Don't hold the ball in your hand. If you can move the ball quickly, the defense cannot adjust on both sides of the floor.
Joe Gurra on his right, Dave Middledale at the line. He gets the first one. Middledale has one. Dave Middledale comes into the ball game shooting a percentage from the free throw line of nearly 72%.
I believe both teams have been excellent from the free throw line all year, haven't they, Gordy?
Yes, very good.
And Dave Middledale is perfect, and we are tied at 4 with 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter, and the Blue Devils quickly bring the ball down. As Coach Leggett mentioned, the Blue Devils want to bring the tempo up. They want to force Lockport out of the half-court game. Not too many people have been able to do that this year. The Blue Devils will also be very patient in passing. Their shooting percentage as a team is an example of that. The ball tried to be kept in. Turnover, Quincy and Lockport will take over.
One of the things you don't see too often against zones, Joe, that Quincy is trying to do, and that is screen. They're screening the baseline player away from the ball, with the hopes of trying to cut 2 guys to the basket after the screen to isolate one of them inside.
Jerry Leggett looking on, not liking the turnover, and almost getting one for the Blue Devils. Allen bounced pass into Maurice Hamilton, and he looked for Mitadero down low, but couldn't find him. Out to Allen. Mandrella. And they move it around the perimeter, knocked away, and a nice move by Jason Gay, but quickly to recover are the Porters. And you see the quickness that Quincy is putting on their defense. Long jumper by Hamilton, no good. Jackson, the rebound. He is fouled, reaching in by number 4, Jimmy Bailey. And that's Bailey's first personal foul and second team foul against Quincy.
One of the things that really could be in Lockport's favor is coming out early in the game, and that's offensive rebounding by the Porters. They're able to get the second shot.
No question about that, Frank. It has worked in their favor already. Mitadero gets the ball in. Quincy crowd wanting a 5-second violation call, but no such whistle. Billy Mandrella, the point guard for the Porters, in control on the left-hand dribble. Down low to Hamilton. I don't think he realized he had it so open, and Hamilton gets his second bucket of the night. He's got 4, and the Porters take the 2-point lead. The Blue Devils quickly down court with the basketball. Long jumper from college three-point range, and Chris Jones with his first bucket of the night. And we are tied back at 2. If this was an NCAA game, that's a three-pointer. We have the three-point stripe here on the Horton Fieldhouse floor, which, of course, is the home of the Redbirds of Illinois State University, whose Redbirds of Coach Bob Donewald are active in the NIT and they're going into the 3rd round this week. This court may still be used by their team before the season's over. Right now, a very busy court it is with these 2 teams, Lockport and Quincy. Mitadero turnaround jumper. He's got that soft touch, Frank Palmasani, that just seems to put the other team in a cautious moment of hold, and that gives him an advantage when he goes up in the air.
Dave Mitadero is a skilled big man.
The Porters force another turnover as, again, Quincy goes to what is not their strength. They try to go inside and turn the ball over. Lockport brings it back. They lead by 2. 8-6 with 2:30 left to go in the first quarter of play. Mandrella on the dribble. He goes to the left side to Jackson. The Porters had that one early turnover on their first possession. They have played much more cautious since then, even though Quincy has knocked the ball away a few times. 2:15 left. Mitadero way outside, trying to spread out the defense for Quincy, who, of course, are sagging in the middle. Allen, Mandrella. Jackson, Hamilton sees the open 14-footer, gets it.
I think one of the major factors in this game that we haven't talked about, Joe, is the crowd. I'll get back to that a little later.
Maurice Hamilton brought the crowd to their feet with his 6th point of the night. Long alley-oop down low, undercut by, I believe, Hamilton. We'll wait for the official call. Hamilton or Mandrella, we're not sure who they're going to get the call against. It is against Lockport, though.
Joe, when I talk about the crowd, I don't mean the crowd from a motivational standpoint. I think the crowd is making it very difficult for the coaches to communicate with their players on the floor, and both coaches like to do that, and they're having a hard time communicating with those kids.
Coming into the game for Quincy is number 32, Chris Dohm, their tallest player, a 6'5" senior. He started the first half of the year. He's not in there for shooting. He's in there for defensive and rebounding purposes. And leaving the game is number 52, Bruce Bias, the 6'3" junior. And down low, they go to Lathan, and Larry Lathan gets his first bucket of the night. Number 50, Lathan has 2, the 6'4" senior, and we are within 2 for Quincy. 10-8 in favor of the Porters. 1:35 left to go here in the first quarter of play.
Joe, we talked about it before, out-of-bounds plays. Jerry Leggett known for out-of-bounds plays.
The Porters in their own end to the corner to Hamilton, out to Jackson, down low to Hamilton, or Mitadero, a little turnaround jumper, and the inside game for Lockport, working to perfection. Hamilton and Mitadero with all the points, 6 apiece for the Porters. They lead by 4, 12-8. What a drive, going low, Chris Jones for Quincy.
Everything that Quincy does is organized. That was an organized fast break, a set play when the ball goes to the baseline, comes back up, guy takes the jump shot or goes to the basket from the opposite choke spot.
No question about how organized it was. You see how Quincy just pulled the inside man away from the paint, opened up the middle for the drive. Long shot, no good. Here comes Quincy. Fast break. Chris Jones pulls up, uses the glass for two. Chris Jones with 6. We are tied at 12 with 35 left to go in the first period of play. Lockport coaches Bob Basarch, Joe Gurr sitting back. Assistant coach Larry Thompson down at Peoria at the Civic Center. He is looking at Peoria Manual and Rock Island tonight in the other Supersectional. The winner of that game will play the winner of this game in the quarterfinal at Assembly Hall in Champaign on Friday. Mandrella, open jumper, 2. Billy Mandrella kept looking for someone to pass it to, and he said, hey, if they're going to give me the shot, I'm taking it. He did. He got it. Long jumper off to the right. No good. Rebound underneath, and give Maurice Hamilton assist for knocking that ball away. We have come to the end of what everybody expected to be a close game, and at the end of the first quarter of play, here at the Class AA Boys Supersectional at Horton Fieldhouse in Normal, it's the Lockport Porters 14 and the Blue Devils of Quincy 12.
One of the reasons why I like Lockport's situation right now is I thought Quincy played an unbelievable first quarter. I mean, execution-wise, offensively, was marvelous. Get some jump shots off the break. I don't think you can do that. Lockport is getting the ball inside. That's a great thing going for us, for the Lockport Porters, to be able to go to Minadero and score inside.
Bob Basarch and Joe Gurr on your right. Gurr's the one without gray hair. That's because he's not a head coach yet.
In that first quarter, Joe, Lockport was 6 of 8, and Quincy was 6 of 7. So outstanding shooting that first quarter.
Joe Passion on the floor of Horton Fieldhouse in Normal, along with Frank Palmisani and Gordon McCluskey. As we have come to the end of the first quarter of play, the Porters lead by 2, 14-12, as we move into the second period. A very vocal crowd from both sides of the field house and this ancient old field house at Horton here on the ISU campus, soon to be vacated for the new arena that will seat about 10,500, being built right next door. And as we drove up here, you can see the shell outside. Looks a little bit prehistoric, but they hope to move in there for next year's basketball season.
When they do move in, they're going to lose one heck of a home court advantage, though. When you're the home team and you're playing in this kind of an arena, it's great to have those fans right behind you cheering for every basket.
Jimmy Bailey, number 4, will inbound the ball as we open up second quarter play. The Blue Devils trail by 2, 14-12, but it will be Quincy basketball to open up the second quarter play. All the way on the other side, long jumper, and there's that outside shooting we talked about. Larry Lathan, number 50, with 4 points, and we are tied at 14 to open up the second period of play.
Joe, another set out of bounds play. Quincy's going to take that jump shot off of a double screen.
That has been their forte all year long. Their strength is not inside, it is outside. They've proven that already thus far early in this game, as we are in the first minute of play in the second quarter, tied at 14 between Lockport and Quincy. Jackson, top of the key, back to JoJo, looks for the 16-footer, doesn't roll, and Lathan with the rebound for Quincy. And quickly the Blue Devils bring it down. Chris Jones on the right wing, pulls it up, top of the circle, and losing the ball. Bailey unable to hold on to the ball. Check that. Number 5, Gay, unable to hold on to the ball, but Mandrella was right there. Number 32, Chris Doan, who came in late in the first quarter, back on the Quincy bench and back in the game. Number 52, Bruce Bias for Quincy. The Porters staying with their starting 5. Mandrella and Allen in the backcourt, Jackson, Hamilton, and, of course, Minadero in the middle on the front line. For Quincy, Lathan, Gay, and Bias in the front line, Jones and Bailey in the backcourt. Joe Jackson, he doesn't have the touch tonight. He has gone 0 for 3 from outside. Hamilton throws the ball away, and we have a 5-second violation against the Lockport Porters.
I still think Lockport's in a good position. Their intention is to get the ball inside, and even though Quincy is guarding the basket, they've still had pretty good success when they do that. When they hit a jump shot or when they take a jump shot, it's pretty much wide open.
Here's number 4, Jimmy Bailey, the 5'7" perimeter shooter. Bailey, number 4, moving it around to Gay, up into the corner. It goes to Jones. This is a team that you'll go outside, but always pulling up as they did there. But Gay's shot is high off the glass, and the Porters are there for the rebound. Give Lockport credit. They are positioning themselves and blocking out the lane for those defensive rebounds, and that is the Porters' strength right now. They out-rebounded Joliet Central and Kankakee in the sectional by large totals. They hope to do that tonight if they're to beat Quincy. Mandrella, open jumpers, got it. No, in and out. Rebound Jackson, back out to Minadero. Minadero is fouled by Quincy's Jason Gay. That's Gay's first personal. It looked like Mandrella's shot was going to fall. It came in and out. The Porters will get the ball underneath their own basket as Coach Bob Bassarts in the dark jacket leaning over and looking on as his team fights to stay alive with 5:47 left to go in the second period. We are tied at 14. Into Minadero. Out to Hamilton. Handoff to Mandrella. With the quickness of Quincy, Frank, I would imagine Mandrella and Allen's stability in the backcourt with their lack of turnovers is a big Lockport key.
No question. Big plus for the Porters.
Cross-court pass back to Mandrella looking for the open man. Allen had the shot, didn't take it. Back out to Jackson. He will take that quick jumper as he does. Joe Jackson gets his first bucket of the night after going 0 for 3, Gordy, from the field. 16-14. Porters by a bucket. No good. Rebound, Lathan right back up. Fouled by Jackson.
One of the things that Quincy is doing is putting tremendous pressure on Lockport's defense is that they are running after made baskets as well as misses. So there, JoJo Jackson makes a jump shot, and they're pushing the ball up the floor, not giving the Porters a chance to set up in their basket defense, creating some mismatches around the hole. I think both Coach Gurra and Coach Bassarich are concerned about that and trying to rectify it.
At the line for Quincy, Larry Lathan, number 50, and his first shot is good. This team shoots almost 80% from the free throw line. As a team, that's almost awesome. A one-point ball game. The Porters lead. Lathan has 5. 6'4" senior puts it up. And now he's got 6, and we are tied again at 16. There's a good look at Jerry Leggett, 11th year as coach of the Blue Devils, 271 wins, 49 losses. He formerly coached at Hinsdale South and Rich Central, and in 19 years, also at Rock Island, by the way, in 19 years, 403 wins, 123 losses. Pretty good winning percentage. And, of course, Bob Bassaric's winning percentage is also well documented. The Porters staying to the outside, and Mandrella on the dribble as he brings it up closer with 4:35 left to go in the second quarter. Mandrella into the corner to Allen. Mike looking outside to Mandrella. Down low to Hamilton. Beautiful feed, and Maurice goes in for 2 more. Maurice Hamilton with 8.
I'm amazed at what Quincy was able to do there. They changed their defenses in the middle. They played some man-to-man. The ball came back out, and then they went to their 1-2 zone.
A good over-the-court shot by our American Cable Systems TV cameras out here. Jumper blocked by Jackson. Long jumper by Bailey. No good. Knocked away by Jackson. Minadero had Jackson on the run but didn't see him and brings it back. The Porter crowd looking for Joe Jackson on the break, but Dave Minadero, his first priority was to hold on to the ball. He did that well. So a steal and a block. The Porters force Quincy out of the game following 2 missed shots. They have the ball now in their own end. 3:35 left to go in the first quarter. The Porters by 2. This time it's Quincy knocking the ball away, but Lockport regains control. Allen, open jumper, near baseline, 2.
Again, good ball movement that time by the Porters. They have to move the ball. They don't want to hold it in one player's hand for a long time.
Lockport's biggest lead is 4 at 20-16 with 3:16 left. Down low, Minadero almost blocked. Everybody's down on the floor, no whistle. The referees tonight letting these 2 teams play, in the crowd, at least one side of the gym, loves it. The Porters in control with just under 3 to play in the first half. They lead by 4. Mandrella to Allen. Back out to Billy. Down low. Nice pass to Hamilton. He is fouled. A shooting foul, and Maurice will go to the line to shoot a pair. The crowd loves that one, too.
That is the essence of post play in basketball, Joe. Maurice Hamilton was fronted when the ball was at the baseline. When it got back released to Mandrella, the player that was fronting couldn't get back over the top to guard the pass directly in from Mandrella to Hamilton.
Well,
great
that is
execution.
Obviously, the execution of pulling the big man away from the basket, as you described, Frank, is working in the Lockport favor right now. And Maurice Hamilton at the line, and it's off the back of the rim. Hamilton leads everybody with 8 points. The Porters lead by 4 with 2:47 on the second quarter clock. Maurice's second shot. off the back of the rim and no good. And a foul against Lockport. Dave Minadero's first personal foul and third team foul against Lockport. And there's Joe Gura on the right, Bob Basarch on the left, trying to tell his team to just control themselves and play cool. Right, Gordon?
That's right. Lockport's got 3 for 4 in this quarter, whereas Quincy has 1 of 4. That's the difference in the scoring so far.
2:40 left to go in the second quarter. Bailey on the dribble. To Gay, back to Bailey. Turn it around quickly. Lathan, the bucket. And Larry Lathan has 8. And Quincy crawls back within 2. 20-18 our score with 2:20 left to go in the second quarter. Mandrella on the dribble for Lockport. Allen back to Billy. And Joe Jackson back to Mandrella. They move the ball around the perimeter. Minadero being doubled and triple teamed in the paint. The Porters keep pushing it around the outside, looking for the opening, and a traveling violation against Joe Jackson and the Porters.
Jerry Leggett's got another play going. There goes his hands. Coach Basarich is pleading with his players to guard the basket defensively. It's tough because Leggett and Quincy is showing different sets every time down. They've got a different play every time down the floor.
Coach Basarich was telling me on WJRC Radio Sports Talk Show Saturday morning that Quincy has over 150 plays. That's one of them. Jimmy Bailey, his first bucket of the night. Bailey with 2, and we are tied at 20 with 1.5 minutes left in the first half of play. So Quincy scores 4 unanswered points and are back in the ballgame. Jackson in the paint, off the back of the rim, but the ball goes out of bounds. It will be Quincy. Check that, it'll be Lockport basketball. So the Porters get a break as number 52, Bruce Bias, was unable to hold on to the rebound as he held good position against Minadero. Minadero being double teamed anytime he goes near the paint. Hamilton looking for the opening, puts it up, basket's good, and he draws the foul.
I think the official rule is the foul occurred on the floor. It initially looked like to me, Joe, that he waved that basket good, but then he took that away.
That's the indication I got also, Frank, that the basket was good. But that is a deceiving call when the referee's hand goes low to the floor as he's pointing down toward it. No basket. Maurice Hamilton to the line to shoot a one-on-one. We are still tied at 20 with 1:17 left. Coming into the game for Quincy, Chris Doan, number 32, replacing number 52, Bruce Bias. So again, Doan coming into the game for defensive and rebounding purposes for the Blue Devils. And Maurice Hamilton, who is 0 for 2 from the free throw line, is back at the freebie line again. Gets the front end. No, Maurice, come on back. You get another one. Hamilton now with 9. The Blue Devil crowd in full capacity tonight here at Horton Fieldhouse. And Maurice Hamilton, who has started running back the other end, comes back to the line. He has a chance to make 2. Off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound, Jason Gay. And here comes Quincy. They trail by 1 with 1:10 left to go in the first half.
Here comes another play.
Every possession for Quincy seems to be another play out of that big, long book of plays. And down low, they look for Lathan, but Joe Jackson's quickness intercepts the ball. We have a jump ball. The arrow pointing toward Lockport, and the Porters will retain possession. And Jerry Leggett doesn't like the call at all. He said, hey, that's not how the play was drawn out. Just keep the ball down on the court, and those things won't happen. But you can't expect Joe Jackson to just let something like that happen. Jackson showing his quickness in knocking that play away, forcing the jump ball. The Porters have it back with 45 seconds left. Lockport leading by 1, 21-20. Frank, I don't think I have to tell our viewers what the play is here.
Big possession here for the Porters. If they can hold it to get the last shot and then score, they have a lot of momentum going into halftime.
30 seconds left on the second quarter clock. The Porters spreading out the offense, but Quincy coming out with that half-court press. double teaming the man with the ball. Mandrella looking to Jackson. Jackson is fouled by Doan, and Joe Jackson. With the Porters in the bonus, Jackson will go to the line to shoot one in the bonus. And that is a bonus for Lockport should Jackson connect on the free throws.
It's really pivotal that Lockport hits some free throws. Maurice, I think, has missed the last 3 out of 4, and JoJo's got to make up for that a little bit here.
Jackson has 3 points, and the Porters are up by 2. There are just 17 seconds left in the second quarter, so Quincy will have a chance to bring the ball back down. So this basket here is imperative for Lockport. And Jackson comes up with it. Joe Jackson with 4. Quincy with 15 seconds quickly brings the ball up. They could have 15 minutes on the clock, and they would still bring the ball up that quickly. Single digits on the clock, reaching in foul. Check that, a traveling violation against the Blue Devils with 7 seconds left on the clock. A big break there for the Porters, Frank Palmisani, and Lockport has one more possession. 5 seconds and ticking. Down low to Minadero. He has crashed. The foul is against Chris Stone, his second. And Minadero, who is one of the leading free throw shooters on the Porters, shooting nearly 72%, will go to the line. He will shoot a one-on-one.
I really like Billy Mandrella's head. That time Maurice Hamilton was calling for the ball. Coach Pasarich wanted him to be the shooter, but he was calling for the ball way over at the top of the key, so Mandrella saw that. Right away, he figured he'd throw the ball into the big man, and the worst you can get usually in that situation is a foul, and that's exactly what he got.
As soon as the big man, this man, Dave Minadero, gets the ball, the entire Blue Devil team collapses on him. That time they collapsed into each other, forced the foul. Doan with the foul back on the bench. Minadero at the line will try and convert both. Minadero has both. He's got 8. 4 seconds left on the second quarter clock. Timeout call to bring down the net. The Porters with their biggest lead of the game at 5. 25-20, 4 seconds left. Here comes Quincy. 3 seconds across the timeline. 2, 1. Shot put up at the buzzer. Short, no good. Had the shot made it, it would have counted, but it was short. And the teams rush off to the locker room as the Lockport Porter contingent stands, and so they should, because Bob Basarich and his Porters go into the locker room with a 5-point lead as they lead Quincy at halftime of this Class AA Supersectional at Normal at the Horton Fieldhouse. 25-20 our score at the break, and we'll be right back after this quick timeout on the American Cable System's Midwest Television High School Basketball Game of the Week. First half of play, and there you see our score from Horton Fieldhouse in Normal for the Normal Supersectional between these two Class AA boys basketball powerhouses. The Lockport Porters at 27-3 coming in against the Blue Devils of Quincy at 24-5, and the Lockport Porters out of the locker room and warming up, and there's Coach Basarich on your left and his assistant Joe Gurrow, the successful sophomore coach, now on your left, as those two come out of the locker room and begin to ponder strategy of what will come here in the second half between these two great traditions of high school basketball. Joe Passion, along with Gordon McCluskey and Frank Palmisani back at courtside as Jerry Leggett walks across your screen, and he also a veteranmanship. Both have won state championships in their tenures at these respective schools, and certainly one of them would like to have the opportunity to go downstate to Assembly Hall in Champaign this Friday and compete as part of the Elite Eight against the winner of the Peoria Supersectional, and that, of course, pits #1 ranked Peoria Manual, unbeaten at 30 games this year, against a Rock Island team that tied for first place in the Western Big Six Conference with this Quincy team. It doesn't get any easier, does it, Frank Palmisani?
Sure doesn't, but Joe, after seeing his first half, now everyone realizes, not that they didn't before, why you're looking at two of the best high school coaches in the state. What tremendous basketball, what tremendous discipline by both teams. You know, Lockport, I think we're getting what we expected. Quincy's coming down and having the problem of not being able to stop Lockport's game. Lockport's having a problem of not being able to stop the varied offenses that Quincy's showing. Got to give the edge to the Porters, though, because they're going to go to the free throw line more, Joe. They're just getting the ball inside.
There we take a look at the Blue Devils. We're at halftime, just about to get underway with the second half. Gordon McCluskey with the statistics from the first half. Basically, the point totals, which give you an idea of who's hot and who's not.
Okay, and for Lockport Porters, we have Mandrella with 2, Allen 2, Jackson with 4, Hamilton with 9, and Mitadero with 8. And for the Quincy Blue Devils, we have Bailey with 2, Gay with 4, Jones with 6, and Larry Lathan with 8.
You would have expected the rebounding totals to be far different, but it's not. 10 rebounds for the Porters, 9 for the Blue Devils, as we are underway right in front of us here at half court, and inbounding it, Chris Jones to James Bailey, or Jimmy Bailey, and Bailey now, and the Blue Devils under control. Lathan, the jumper is good. Larry Lathan now with 10 points.
Joe, take a guess what that was. Out of bounds play.
You got it, and that is what we talked about at the beginning of the telecast. So many successful plays from the Blue Devils of Quincy are out-of-bounds plays, dead ball plays. They just continue to capitalize on that, and that, of course, is something Lockport's going to have to neutralize before this game is over if they expect to be in uniform in Assembly Hall in Champaign on Friday night. Just underway with the third quarter, the Porters lead by 3, 25-22. The Porters down low, Mitadero the jumper off the back of the rim, Jackson the rebound, and a very quick whistle for a jump ball.
Again, the great advantage Lockport has is that they're going to get offensive rebounds when the ball is shot. Their players are jump quicker to the basket, and they're obviously got the size advantage.
And they had the advantage of the arrow this time and get the ball back on the possession. Billy Mandrella quickly comes over to take control. Mandrella out on top. The Porters starting their starting 5. Mandrella and Allen in the backcourt. Hamilton, Jackson, and Mitadero in the front court. Jackson, the jumper, wanted to use the glass. Hamilton, got the loose ball, but went out of bounds trying to save the ball. And Quincy will take over. Lockport coach Bob Basarch and his assistant Joe Gurr just have to sit back and watch. Not much they can do at this point. How much coaching can you do in a game like this, Frank Palmisani?
Tough to coach, Joe. They can't hear you on the floor.
If it wasn't for these headsets, I'm not sure I'd be able to hear you, and you're sitting right next to me. Quincy comes back, and Larry Lathan is the man that is killing the Porters. He has 12. And it is a one-point ball game. Lockport with the lead, 25-24, as Quincy comes out of the locker room with 4 unanswered points.
Quincy going to man-to-man pressure. Now they change defenses on the fly. I've never seen that done before. It's amazing.
Jackson to Mandrella. Back to JoJo. Open jumper. 2. JoJo Jackson with 6.
Joe, most teams change defenses on change of possessions. Quincy changes defense in mid-flow. They play man-to-man. The ball comes back out. All of a sudden, they're in a zone.
Great coaching job by these two head veteran coaches. Jerry Leggett with Quincy, and, of course, Bob Basarch with Porters. Long jumper, no good. Hamilton the rebound. Undercut and foul by Jason Gay. That is Gay's second personal foul and first team foul against Quincy here this half. And with 6 minutes exactly left to go, Bob Basarch says, you got to get under the basket and get those fouls or get those rebounds. The Porters, though, come up with the rebounds again, and you keep going back to that same thing you pointed out earlier, Frank. Lockport with the rebounding advantage. And right now, with the scoring advantage, they lead by 3, 27-24, with just under 6 to play in the third quarter. Mike Allen working on Chris Jones, or vice versa. Allen, Mandrella, Quincy with Lathan, Gay, Bias, Jones, and Bailey. They're starting 5, starting the second half. Mandrella, the open jumper, can't get the roll. But Jackson is there for the loose ball, and Jackson is called for traveling.
Well, Joe, I finally figured it out. They're playing man-to-man until the ball hits the first pass in the wing, and then they go to his own defense. They're 1-2-2.
Some very quick whistles tonight, but they go against both teams. And right now, it is Quincy with the ball, and Quincy has the advantage. The arrow is in their way. And Larry Lathan, with his 14th point of the night, they have all come from the parking lot, and Bob Bassart wants a timeout as the crowd from Quincy, Illinois is on their feet and cheering their Blue Devils as they have crawled back to within 1 of the Lockport Porters, 27-26. Lockport with the lead with 5:03 left to go in the third quarter.
Lockport called that timeout because they have to cut off Latham's head. What I mean by that is, got a hot shooter on the floor, you're playing zone defense. Bob has to adjust his defense on the floor and not let Latham get the open shot. As a matter of fact, if he has to go out and foul Latham at this point, he needs to do that so that that player doesn't get in this kind of rhythm. He's hit 2 or 3 quick baskets from the dead perimeter. You can't have a situation where a guy burns you from the floor 4, 5, 6 times in a row.
The Porters getting their final bits of instructions from head coach Bob Bassart. The Porters in their home white tonight with the gold and maroon trim. Coach Bob Bassart in the dark sport coat discussing matters with Joe Gurra. They go back to the bench, and the team comes back out onto the floor.
What an intriguing difference in styles. There's Jerry Leggett talking his players are sitting on stools. And there's Bob Bassart talking his players standing up, motivating all the time.
I didn't see either coach talking to either of their teams. They were directing. 5:03 left to go in the third. The Porters inbound the ball in front of Jerry Leggett and his bench. And it'll be Billy Mandrella on the dribble across the timeline. Just under 5 to play in the third. The Porters by 1, 27-26. Mike Allen on the dribble, being harassed, gets the ball away to Jackson. An intimidating half-court press by this Quincy ball club. Minute arrow back out to Mandrella. Jackson, the open 16-footer, 2.
There's 2 ways you take away the inside game of a team. You either double up inside or you pressure the pass. Quincy's trying to do both in the same series.
Joe Jackson now with 8 points on the evening for Lockport. The Porters back up by 3 with 4:15 left to go in the third.
And Mike Allen just shadowed Latham to the corner last time. Excellent timeout by Bassart. Excellent job by Allen.
Allen is staying on Lathan down on the baseline, and a traveling violation against Quincy. Now, I mentioned this earlier, some quick whistles, but give both referees credit. They are consistent whistles, quick on both teams. Our officials today, Phil Cody of Glen Carbon and Donald Cobb of Wood River. The Porters with control. They lead by 3 with just under 4 to play in the third. Still anybody's ball game. If you had the over-under on this game, it couldn't be more than 80. 29-26. The Porters in the lead and being patient again on their perimeter passing. Jackson, the open 16-footer, in and out. But Hamilton is there for the rebound. Maurice Hamilton gets his 11th and 12th point. And the Porters go back up by 5 to tie their biggest lead of the game.
Joe, I'll rate that as the biggest basket of the game so far.
You got to like Maurice. He is getting behind the people that are trying to post him up down low, and that backdoor play is helping in his position for those offensive rebounds. And that's where Lockport is helping. Lathan over Mike Allen for the bucket. Larry Lathan is unstoppable. He has 16.
That time, Lockport was in the defense. It was right in Lathan's face, yet he still made his shot. Couldn't do anything about that one.
Lathan at 6'4", Mike Allen at 5'10". And a reaching in foul against Jason Gay. That is Gay's 3rd personal foul. The Porters will get the ball out in front of their own bench.
One of the things you really appreciate is the value of an assistant coach in this kind of a situation. You know, when Bob Serge called that timeout and he recognized exactly what he needed to do, you know, a lot of times as a head coach, you don't see things, and you need to use your assistants.
Ball knocked out of bounds. Quincy basketball.
And that's where a guy like Joe Gurr and Larry Thompson are so invaluable to him.
The Porters lead by 3 as the Quincy Blue Devils inbound the ball and will bring it up slowly. Leggett off his bench in the red jacket, and there he's looking at his team. He wants them to come in more toward the middle. Pulling up jumper, Chris Jones. No good. He is fouled on the shot, though. Mike Allen is the culprit, and that's Mike's first personal foul. And it'll be a 2-point shooting foul for Quincy, and Chris Jones will go to the line.
The player that has the most pressure defensively for Lockport is Mike Allen. It's a maze out there. You know, he's working in his own mind about stopping Latham and going to the ball side, and all of a sudden Quincy throws a skip pass off of a double screen, and he's having to try to get out to the corner.
Chris Jones, a 6-foot senior, number 10. No good. That is the first foul shot that Quincy has missed this game, I believe, Gordon McCluskey.
That's correct.
They don't miss many in the year, I don't think.
Jones gets that one. He has 7. And Quincy is within 2 with 2:20 left to go, and Bob Sarch and Joe Gurr want the Porters to speed up the tempo here and move the ball in quickly rather than letting the Quincy half-court press collapse on them. And that time, number 52, Bruce Bias, reaching in on Midodero and gets the foul. It will be an inbounds play for Lockport in front of their own bench.
Excellent job by Midodero, releasing himself to catch that pass.
Allen gets the bounce pass, gets it in, and Lockport, the crowd wanting a whistle, they get none. Jackson, Mundrella into the corner to Mike Allen. Back out to Mundrella, and Joe Jackson moves the ball around as well. They stay out by the 3-point line on the Horton Fieldhouse court. Down low to Midodero, has the opening, little touch, gets it for 2. Dave Midodero, his first bucket of the second half, he has 10. And Lockport back up now by 4, 33-29, with 1:45 left to go in the third quarter.
Good body control by Dave Midodero that time. Looked like he could have traveled, but caught his balance and got up and got the good jump shot off.
You know, Gordon McCluskey and I were discussing this during the sectional. That's something that Dave Midodero had a problem with during the regular season. He has not, though, in the state tournament.
Right, he's had good control, and he's controlled his fouls, which has kept us in the game, I believe.
Chris Jones with the bucket. Jones now with 9. And we are back to a 2-point ball game. 33-31. Lockport with 1:20 left to go in the third.
Sarich and Gurr were pleading with Maurice Hamilton, don't double the ball inside. We're more concerned with the perimeter shooters.
Jackson double teamed. Finds Hamilton. He's going to go to the hoop. And offensive foul against Maurice. Give credit to Larry Latham, sacrificed his body to draw the foul against Lockport, and they give the ball up. And Jerry Leggett says, let's get it inside and shoot it up.
That's a tough call. You know, from our angle, you don't know if the kid fell or if there was really that kind of contact.
1 minute left to go in the third quarter. And Quincy's possession here could tie the ball game. They trail by 2. Lockport has led throughout the first half. Ball does not get the Quincy roll. And Lockport is there for the rebound. A great move underneath by Bias, but it just wouldn't fall.
Good play, but the Porters are better off letting that go than doubling the ball and then let him kick out for the easy jump shot. I think Midodero can handle those players one-on-one inside.
The Porters control with 30 seconds left in the third. They lead by 2 and could go up by as much as 4 to close out the third quarter. Down low to Midodero. Goes up. 2 points. Dave Midodero with 12 points with 15 seconds left to go in the third period. Jerry Leggett has not called one timeout in this game. He's letting his team handle it. In the corner, Latham. It gets the fall. 1 second, and we have come to the end of the third quarter of play here at Normal. The Class AA Supersectional at the end of 3. It's the Lockport Porters by 2, 35-33. Larry Lathan with 18 points. It looked like that was going to be one of the shots that was not going to go, but it did.
You really have to be impressed with Lathan. He shot the ball from the dead corner, Joe, and sometimes he shot the ball under pressure. It's awfully difficult to predict what Quincy's going to do on offense because of their change of sets, and Mike Allen is doing a whale of a job, even though Coach Viserys has been on him quite a bit, to handle the different sets Quincy's shown. We don't know how much they practice those things, but Mike really has a difficult assignment tonight.
Well, after looking at Bob Basarch, we now look down on Jerry Leggett, the Quincy coach, and he's talking to his main scorer there on your left hand of the screen, Larry Lathan. And you can just read his lips, and it looks, and I'm sure if we could hear it, sounds like a pep talk at this point, and not so much strategy. And again, you go back to what you said, Frank, about both coaches. How much can you teach them here? You just want them to execute what they already know.
Yeah, and the thing that, you know, this is a technical game in many ways, you know, because of the style that both teams are playing, and it's just so difficult to communicate with your players on the floor. You really need to have coaches on the floor.
Well, here we go, folks. We move into the fourth quarter as the Lockport cheerleaders getting the crowd on their feet. And Quincy will inbound the ball at half court to open up the fourth quarter. The Quincy Blue Devils in blue, and of course the Lockport Porters in their home white with the gold and maroon trim. Joe Passion along with Gordon McCluskey and Frank Palmasani in the broadcast booth of American Cable Systems Midwest Television. The Class AA Supersectional Sweet 16, and one of these teams will become the Elite Eight in less than 8 minutes. The jumper by Bailey is good. Jimmy Bailey with 4 points. And we are tied at 35. This is the first time Lockport has lost the lead in the second half, but we are in just the first 30 seconds of the fourth quarter. Mandrella bounce pass to Jackson, to Billy. Over to Mike Allen, and Allen is back to Mandrella to Jackson. And the Porters keep it outside, but you see how they have moved up the tempo of their passing. They don't want this Quincy team to sag all over them and allow any turnovers. Down low to Midadero. Turnaround jumper. No good. Partially blocked. Hamilton the rebound. Back out wisely to Mike Allen.
Great presence of mind that time by Maurice Hamilton.
Allen wants the jumper. Instead brings it back out. And the Porters' offensive rebounding keeping them very much in this game. And Midadero and Bias really banging in the paint.
Bias almost lost his cool that time.
Bias is on Midadero like glue, and I don't think Dave's enjoying it. You can see the look on Bias's face down low. He doesn't like it either. Number 52 sagging on number 50. 6:15 left to go in this basketball game, and to think the Supersectional bringing together two great basketball traditions, but only one of them can advance from here to the Elite Eight. And they will play the winner of the Peoria Supersectional in the final quarterfinal game on Friday night at Assembly Hall in Champaign. We are tied at 35 with just under 6 minutes to play.
This is perfect for Lockport. Lockport wants this. Quincy's just getting worn out trying to play defense.
Does the close tie game favor the Porters, Frank?
Oh, I think so. Tempo-wise, I think the Lockport has a tendency to go to the line a little bit more because they're getting the ball inside.
Lockport being very patient and waiting for the high percentage shot. And Lockport coach Bob Basarch calls a timeout. And you can see him as he talks to his players. With 5:34 left to go in this basketball game, Supersectional time at normal. It's the Porters and the Blue Devils of Quincy tied at 35. With the Lockport front line of Dave Minadero, Maurice Hamilton, and Joe Jackson, they come into this game as varsity starters with a record of 66-15. Lockport has won 6 in a row as a team and 16 of their last 17 games.
When you got that kind of record going for you, Joe, you've got that kind of a tradition, reputation, you got that feeling of success, it's great to go into the last 5 minutes of the game knowing that you've done it before. And I'm sure both players, both groups of players feel that same way.
The Quincy coach, Jerry Leggett, planning out strategy. Quincy, winners of the Quincy Regional with wins over Chatham, Glenwood, and Jacksonville, and then winning 2 at the Springfield Griffin Sectional over Springfield Southeast and Decatur Eisenhower. They finished for a first-place tie in the Western Big Six Conference with Rock Island, who they split a pair with this year. They also split a pair with East Moline, Mike Gillespie's team now, the former Joliet Catholic coach. And Lockport, Joe Jackson wanting to inbound the ball all the way to Dave Mitadero. And Porters now will have to bring it back up court. And Joe Jackson right in front of us at half court gets it across the timeline to Mike Allen. Lockport, sole champions of the SICA West Division at 12-0. Mitadero in the middle, reaching in foul against Bias. And that will be Bruce Bias' 3rd personal foul.
The importance of the center releasing is essential in this kind of an offensive set, because right now Quincy is overplaying the wings and it's hard to make an entry pass, but when the center releases, they can get the ball to him at the high post.
And now the referee is telling the kids, let's loosen up here, but I don't think they're very loose at this point. Lockport, winners of the Lockport Regional with wins over Providence and Bolingbrook, and then winning the Romeoville Sectional, and they did it with the help of this man, number 44, Maurice Hamilton. Hamilton on the inbound pass now has 14 points. Lockport takes the slim lead, 37-35, with 5 minutes left to go in this basketball game. And now it's Quincy's turn to go to their patient passing game as Lockport kicks the ball out of bounds, and it will be Quincy basketball.
Porters turned the tables on Quincy that time. They scored on an out-of-bounds play.
And for what it's worth, the arrow, the possession arrow at the official scores table is pointing toward Lockport's basket. So they will get the next jump ball or questionable call at this point.
Look at Mike Allen work on Lathan down there. He's really in his crawl.
There's Allen on top of Lathan. Bias over Mitadero with the big right-handed hook. A great power drive by Bias over Mitadero.
That's something I think we expected. I felt Mitadero could handle Bias inside.
Interesting point, though. That's Bruce Bias' first bucket of the game. And that gives you an indication of how Mitadero has owned the paint tonight against his Quincy opponents. 4:20 left to go. We are tied at 37. Down low for Hamilton. He is fouled by Lathan as he tried to post in front of Maurice. But once again, Maurice uses the slick move to get behind Lathan and have himself facing the glass. Will it be a 2-point foul shot or a one-on-one? We'll wait for the call.
Maurice Hamilton just excels in a game like this. Excels in a situation where he can just be around the blocks and operate.
It will be a 1 and the bonus for Maurice Hamilton at the line. Maurice Hamilton shooting 69% from the free throw line, misses the front end of the one-on-one. We are tied at 37. Quincy with the basketball with 4:15 left to go in the game. Everybody on the edge of their seats, including this reporter, in a great basketball game between two great traditions of high school basketball over the years. 26 appearances in the state tournament for Quincy and over 25 appearances in the state tournament for Lockport. You have to go back even before Gordon McCluskey's time. That's when Quincy won their first state title back in 1934. Came back and won one again in 1981. Almost won one in 1982. Finished third. Lockport, of course. Nice alley-oop pass by Bailey. And coming in with the basket is Bias. Bruce Bias scores 2 in a row. He has 4. And Lockport trails for the first time since midway through the second quarter. 39-37. Quincy the lead. 3:10 left in the ballgame. Mitadero down low, puts up the soft shot, and Dave Mitadero has 14.
Lockport almost had to convert that time, Joe. That was really a big basket.
And they did it quickly. 39-39. We are tied with just under 3 to play. And now it gets the nail-biting time. Fortunately, I cut mine this morning, so I'm not in danger. I'm not sure about these coaches or the fans. Quincy controls in their own end, and Jerry Leggett says, bring it back out. Let's milk the clock. And now it becomes an interesting strategy between two coaches. So is this a point, Frank Palmisani, where the coaches may decide the ball game, or at least what could be the outcome?
Well, what happens there, Jerry forces Bob to play a certain defense. He knows if Pacerich can't sit back in his regular defense, he's got to come out and trap, and that's what Jerry wants.
Lathan the jumper, no good. Everybody down low. Foul against Chris Jones of Quincy against Billy Mandrella. A great effort by Mandrella to get down on the baseline and get in position for the rebound, thus forcing the foul, Lockport's basketball.
Well, there's a situation where Jerry Leggett got what he wanted, but he didn't want that shot. He got the quarters to play that trapping defense. What he wanted was the ball to be passed to an easy shot. Instead, he got a long jump shot from the perimeter. Now Lockport could really be in a good situation here if Billy can convert these free throws.
One-on-one for Billy Mandrella. I think that answers my question. The coaches don't decide the outcome. They just plan for it. The players obviously have to make it happen, and Billy Mandrella makes it happen for the Porters with that basket. And Mandrella, who has been such a key factor in this team's improvement since a win over Joliet West in their second to the last game of the regular season.
Joe,
he moved over to point guard and Mike Allen over to the off guard, Lockport got better than they already were. Mandrella missing the second half of that one-on-one, though. And Quincy with the ball with 2:05 left. A 1-point Lockport lead. Stay with us following the game. Complete post-game coverage from Horton Fieldhouse here on the Illinois State University campus. Post-game coverage of this Class AA Supersectional between the Porters and Quincy. And right now, Quincy with the advantage with 1:40 left in the game and down by 1. Bailey, the jumper. Good. Jimmy Bailey with 6 points. And Lockport will bring it down uncontested, no press. But that press will liven up here in half court.
Quincy now changing defense, going to a 1-3-1, something they haven't used too much of in the game.
Now this is an interesting position for the Porters to be. Do we wait for Bob Basarch in the timeout? No. Maurice Hamilton goes in. He is fouled by Byers. Hamilton will go to the line to shoot 2. That's 4 personal fouls on Bruce Byers. A great move by Maurice Hamilton as Byers was dragged. And Lockport, Bob Basarch wants a timeout. He wants his players to be very sure what the strategy will be. Should Maurice make the free throws or should he miss them? Frank Palmisani, you're the coach. Fill in the blanks.
First off, Joe, you made a great point a little later. I'm always, from the coaching standpoint, looking at the coaches, trying to analyze the strategy of the game. But the players play, and they really deserve the credit, both teams, for outstanding play. What Lockport is saying right now is, we convert both free throws, we're up 1. We've got to not let Lathan get an easy jump shot. We've got to watch Lathan on the floor. If the ball goes inside, we're going to take our chances that Midodero can play decent one-on-one. If they score right away, boom, we got to have a timeout, or we got to run a set play coming down the other end.
You're looking at the Blue Devil chart on what they would like to do in this play, and you can see the left foot of Jerry Leggett as he tries to get his team to understand what he's putting down in the chart, and hoping that they will execute once on the big chart, and that's the real court.
Gordy, you're the stat man. It's up to you. You got to hit both of these free throws for Maurice here.
We're not doing too good. 1 for 3 so far.
Maurice Hamilton will go to the line to shoot 2. He has a game-high 14 points, tied with Midodero. At least a Lockport high. The game high is going right now to red-hot Larry Lathan. And right now, both Bob Basarch on your left and Joe Gurr on your right, a little bit uncomfortable here with 1:14 left to go in the game, and they trail by 1. I think you call that perfect.
All net.
Maurice Hamilton on the rainbow shot finds the pot of gold on St. Patrick's Day night, and he does it twice. 16 points for Hamilton. Lockport with a 1-point lead, and 1:10 left to go in the game. It is showtime in Supersectionals at Normal. Quincy trying to draw Lockport out.
With the 1-point lead here, 50 seconds left. What you don't want to see is Quincy taking a last-second shot. Jerry probably won't play for it, but if they do, then you're just hoping that ball doesn't go down.
And Jerry Leggett throwing off another play signal from the bench. And Quincy now, it's up to them to execute. They keep the ball outside. 30 seconds left to go in this basketball game. Lockport leads by 1. Well, Frank, you said it would come down to this. It has. And with 25 seconds left, Bob Visarch and Joe Gura are off the bench. But this time it's Jerry Leggett's turn to call a timeout. And I'll tell you, I look at what seems to be a spent Frank Palmisani and Gordon McCluskey on my side here on broadcast row, right on court side at half court, as we look right at the Lockport cheerleaders here. And they, of course, are hoping what most of the other people here on the side that we are looking at, and that is a victory. But right now, Jerry Leggett is charting out another play, and he hopes it will be his last play. But he hopes it won't be his last play of the year. And, of course, Bob Visarch with the same philosophy on the other bench.
Joe, how many plays did you say Coach Visarch said that Leggett had? 150?
Over 150.
He's used them all.
Well, he may have to use a couple more and maybe innovate some here to get one more point on the bucket. Bob Visarch, you can see it's interesting, too. Bob Visarch is very cool with his players here in Frank, and not on them as hard as he was earlier. Obviously, he wants them to be just as cool and firm when they come out in the court here.
Absolutely. Motivation is over now, Joe. Now it's make sure everyone knows what we want defensively, what we're doing from a technical end, and rebound the basketball.
Well, Lockport has certainly done that throughout this ball game, and that's rebound, and that has kept them in the game. Over 4,000 on hand. 2,000, I'd say, from Lockport, 2,000 from Quincy. Call it even. And right now, this basketball game is just about as even.
Look out for an out-of-bounds play.
This is what Quincy has been so strong in, is their out-of-bounds play. 25 seconds left on the clock. 42-41. Lockport the 1-point lead. Joe Passion, along with Gordon McCluskey and Frank Palmisani. The basket is scored by Jason Gay. His first bucket of the second half. And with 12 seconds left, I think Lockport's in the advantage, Frank Palmisani, because they've got enough time to set up one more play. And with a 1-point Quincy lead, Lockport needs but one basket. So easy it is to plant it here from press row.
There was a situation where that was just a great individual move inside. You know, I think Lockport was in a position defensively. They couldn't do much more than try to handle that one-on-one with Minadero, and he just got beat on a great one-on-one move. But Lockport's in control. They've got the ball with 12 seconds. They can get off a good shot.
Now, this is a situation I would imagine a coach would like to be in. The destiny is in their own hands. They have the basketball inside the timeline with 12 seconds left. More than enough time to set up one more play. And should that play be converted into a 2-point basket, Lockport has a 1-point lead with, in all likelihood, less than 5 seconds to play. That puts Quincy in a very, very unenviable situation.
There's one better position, though, Joe. That's to have the ball with 12 seconds up one.
Unfortunately, Lockport's going to have to compromise and take the ball down one. And that's where we stand. A packed house here at Horton Fieldhouse on the Illinois State University campus. The final seconds of this super-sectional game between the Lockport Porters in white and the Quincy Blue Devils in blue. And every one of the crowd on hand on their feet for the final 12 seconds of this airtight basketball game. Jerry Leggett with his traditional blue towel on his lap. Lockport Porter coach Bob Visarch also looking on just as tightly. Joe Jackson will inbound just to our right here at half court. Across the timeline, Billy Mandrella. Single digits on the clock. Looking for Hamilton down low. Allen will take the shot. No good. Rebound Quincy. 2 seconds left. And there's a foul called against Maurice Hamilton. The game is not over. The game is not over. The Quincy Blue Devil crowd on their feet. With 1 second left in the game, the Blue Devils lead by 1. And Jason Gay will go to the line to shoot a 1 in the bonus. Jerry Leggett wants a timeout. 1 second on the clock. Frank Palmisani, what kind of play could, you know, you go back just to Sunday at the Rosemont Horizon, DePaul pulled it out, but they had at least a little bit more time left. This right here is cutting it awfully close.
Well, it's almost impossible for Lockport right now. They might want to foul the inbounder or foul in a dead ball possession to force free throws and then hope you can rebound and throw a long pass. They might want to fake a fall on one of the defensive players with the hopes that the referee would call an offensive foul and Lockport would get possession. But tough situation for the Porters. They came down. Mike Allen was in that position. He didn't exactly know what the time on the clock was. You're forced into having to take a shot. And, you know, I'm sure he thought he had the best shot going there.
He was wide open. It was a 10-footer. It went in. It was halfway in. It spun out. So what can you say? That should have been there.
Absolutely.
Well, you go back to Romeoville in the regular season when Billy Mandrella threw an 80-foot shot across court for a basket. They will need much of the same here. Check that, no one-on-one bonus shot here. Quincy will inbound the ball in Lockport's end. Lockport needs to take it away and put it up all within 1 second, and the ball's going to have to drop. Otherwise, Quincy is going to Champaign. What a basketball game this has been. Down to the last second. Hamilton throws it up. No good. It almost went in. My gosh. The basket almost went in. Unbelievable. What a great victory for Quincy. What a great victory it is for Quincy. What a great effort for the Lockport Porters. There's Bob Bessart. And, of course, there are the winners at half court.
It was an incredible last-second opportunity. That ball could have gone.
Bob Bessart walks off the court. He is joined by his Lockport Porters as we have come to the end of what has been a wild, as expected, extremely tight high school basketball supersectional game. The final score, the Quincy Blue Devils of Coach Jerry Leggett will advance on to the state's Elite Eight in Class AA quarterfinal action at Champaign's Assembly Hall on Friday night against the winner of the Peoria Manual Supersectional, also being played on St. Patrick's Day night. 43-42, Quincy over Lockport. We will be back with post-game coverage from the floor of the Horton Fieldhouse. But first, let's take this brief timeout, and then we'll be back.
Senior High School, who finished the 1986-87 season in 4th place with a final record of 26 wins and 7 losses. First, meet the principal of Quincy High School, Mr. Robert DeVries. Head coach, Jerry Leggett. Assistant coach, Mike Hellenthal. Assistant coach, Tom Berry. And now the players. Number 4, James Bailey. Number 10, Chris Jones. Number 50, Larry Lathan. Number 5, Jason Gay. Number 52, Bruce Bias. Number 32, Chris Doan. Number 3, Rod Rudd. Number 40, Lyle Martin. Number 22, Todd Wemhaner. Number 12, Steve Berry. Number 44, Todd Thompson. Number 20, Michael O'Connell. Senior manager, Alan Klein. Junior manager Luke McKelvick, representing himself and manager Mark Statz. Those are the Blue Devils of Quincy Senior High School, this year's 4th place finisher. And now, presenting medallions to the squad members of the 3rd place team will be Mr. Thomas Howard of Fremd High School in Palatine, who serves the IHSA as secretary of the board, and Mr. Lawrence Stevens of Winona High School in Winona, who serves the IHSA as a member of the board. At this time, please meet the Chargers of Westchester St. Joseph High School, who finished the 86-87 season in 3rd place with a final record of 28 wins and 3 losses. First, meet the principal of St. Joseph's High School, Brother Michael Flaherty. Head coach, Gene Pingator. Assistant coach, Dennis Doyle. Assistant coach, Mike O'Brien. Manager, Kurt Heckel. Manager, Joe Miller. And now the players. Number 10, Tony Brown. Number 12, Chucky Murphy. Number 20, Brian Molis. Number 21, Sean Tyler. Number 22, Terry Mister. Number 23, Clifford Scales. Number 24, Oliver Caesar. Number 25, Michael Hall. Number 32, Daryl Cunningham. Number 33, Tim Melenda. Number 34, John Dragus. And number 35, Carl Hayes. Those are the Chargers of St. Joseph High School. And now presenting the 4th place trophy will be Dr. Richard Stevenson of Dunbar High School in Chicago, who serves the IHSA as vice president of the board. Will coach Jerry Leggett and captains of Quincy Senior High School please step forward to receive the 4th place trophy. Dr. Stevenson, if you please. Congratulations to Quincy Senior High School. And now presenting the 3rd place trophy will be Mr. Edward Roberts of Oak Forest High School in Oak Forest, who serves the IHSA as a member of the board. Will coach Gene Pingator and captains of Westchester St. Joseph High School please step forward to receive the 3rd place trophy. Mr. Roberts, if you please. Congratulations to St. Joseph High School of Westchester.
We'll be back with the second half of the championship game. It's Lincoln leading King. Now let's pause for these messages.
It's a little scary being a
It's almost like the fans would like to call timeout and say, Coach, they're shooting from over there. Would you try to stop that? And we didn't do it. So all the credit has to go to the victor. And as usual, the losers have to hang their head and say, next time. But there's no next time for our seniors, and I feel sorry for them.
Well, I know that after going 66-15 for those seniors over the last 3 years as starters on the varsity, it is going to be disappointing. And I know you don't like to talk too much about it, but how disappointing is this for you to not get downstate and maybe have a chance to reach win number 500 before the season was over?
Well, you know, that the 500th state championship, that's for fans and reporters to linger on with and dream about.
coaches dream about one game at a time, and when they lose, they prepare for the next one, and they win. We've lost heartbreakers here before. We've lost heartbreakers at the state tournament. All that's part of the game. You don't get upset over that. You just have to go back to work. I would say I'm sure that the young men are the ones that have to live with it the rest of their life because they remember their last game more than any coach does.
One last question, Bob, and I appreciate your time here tonight. Last year at the end of the season, you told me that the very next day you start planning for the following season. Same this year?
Oh, yes. You got to start thinking of the young men that are going to come back and what you have to do. This is a year-round process, and if you start feeling sorry for yourself, then nobody's going to be feeling good for you because you're the only one that keeps yourself going in life. And it'll be tough for a while tonight, but hey, there'll be a good NCAA game on, and there'll be some other things happening. We'll be back in the roll again. It really isn't as bad as you think. It's just that it's a tough way to lose. See, the game that we lost to Horton and Springfield Lanford here was much easier than tonight's game because we had a team that was undermanned play a great game and lose to a greater team. Tonight, we had the best team, and we lost because we backed off. And I think that hurts a little bit more.
All right, Bob, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, and thank you to all of our fans, 1,400 of them coming down here.
Great crowd.
Yeah, I'm sorry we had to break their heart, but I think they understand.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. Bob Basarich of the Lockport Porters. They fall tonight 43-42, and a great basketball game that went down to the wire. Frank Palmisani, a final couple of words here of this ball game, in which the Porters lose it by 1. They get 15 points from Maurice Hamilton, 14 from Dave Mitadero, and 8 from Joe Jackson. And as Gordy mentioned in the statistics, even up on the rebounds at 16, a very close game in almost every statistic. But boy, the kid that really broke the heart was Lathan with his 18 points. Killed the Porters in the third quarter, and as Bob mentioned a moment ago, was the key to turning things around and giving the momentum back to Quincy.
I agree. Obviously, Lathan was unbelievable, unconscious at sometimes from the perimeter on some of those shots. I thought, Lockport did everything they could in terms of trying to make the adjustment after Coach Basarich called a timeout to get the defense there, and a couple times he made shots when Mike Allen was right in his face. I thought the thing, though, that was just so tough to deal with, and I've said this, and I've gone through it as a coach, when that crowd is as loud as it is, as a coach, you can't communicate with your players on the floor. And with Quincy changing the offensive sets as much as they did, Coach Basarich wanted to communicate as hard as he could, screaming and shouting defensive signals, but sometimes the players just can't hear. And I think that affected the Lockport defense tonight.
And the kids that really broke the backs in the fourth quarter, it wasn't really Nathan, it wasn't really Lathan. It was the kid in the middle, Bias, who was shut out for the entire game until the latter stages of the fourth quarter when he scored 2 big baskets inside, a couple of great moves. Mitadero neutralized him the entire game, shut him out. And then Bias got 4 big ones toward the end. And, of course, the kid that killed him was Jason Gay, who only had 2 points in the second half. But they were the 2 points that won this basketball game tonight, 43-42. Quincy with the victory over Lockport. Frank, a pleasure working with you on these telecasts. An outstanding job, great insights from a basketball standpoint of view, and we wish you best of luck in your continuing work over at Lewis. And if I need insurance, I'll let you know soon.
Okay, Joe.
All right. Also, our thanks to Gordon McCluskey, a great job on the stats, and all the people of Lockport Community Television, many of them working on tonight's telecast, and many throughout the Lockport Regional and Romeoville Sectional, all the Community Access League people who are so valuable for their volunteer time here on American Cable Systems Midwest Television and our continued coverage of local sports here in Will County. And for all the people of American Cable helping us out here today at Horton Fieldhouse of the Supersectional, and for myself, a happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. A great basketball game. Unfortunately, for most of you, I'm sure, not the way you would have liked it to come out. Final score, Quincy 43, Lockport 42. The Blue Devils of Coach Jerry Leggett move on to become a member of the Elite Eight down at Assembly Hall in Champaign later this month. Joe Passion saying so long from Horton Fieldhouse, and thank you very much for being with us tonight. Goodbye, everyone.
Johnny. Well, since this is your county, my men and I were here at your service. Now, some of my deputies, they tracked them, but they lost them down below the snow line. I got an investigator down below with all his gear. Can we get him up here?
Yeah, sure. And I could use a camera.
Dave.
I got one in my pack over here.
Johnny.
Huh?
Honey boot.
Oh.
Looks like a 30-06. Been fired. There's another one.
Uh-huh.
How is she?
Critical. Some fragments of the bullet that can't be removed. And they're afraid it ricocheted around if it traveled through her chest. Damaged some of the organs. The diaphragm, the liver.
She's gonna make it. Look at these guys.
Look where that spotter plane's at now.
I don't have to look. Fleas are like everybody else down there. They're trapped in their own system. That's why when they come up against men that have freed themselves from the system, they'll lie. They can't stand that. That's why they'll come after us with everything they got. But they can't beat what they can't control.
Yes, sir. We are advising people to stay out of the Lone Mountain and the Spanish Peaks regions. These men are military types. They're well armed, and they're definitely still in the area.
Sheriff!
Yes, ma'am.
Rumor has it out of Washington there may be a connection with the terrorists striking our Olympic team.
No, ma'am. These are no terrorists. Don Nichols, the father, is just a very strange loner type. Apparently always has been. He was raised around here, then joined the Navy. He got discharged on a Section 8. That's mental instability. Got married in West Virginia, had 2 kids, then moved back here. His wife left him 13 years ago. Since then, he's generally worked winters and spent the summers in the mountains with his son. His son, Dan, is 19. He lived mainly with his mother over in White Sulphur Springs. Now, during those summers in the mountains, the old man apparently drilled his philosophy into him. He took to it. Like his dad, he's a loner. He got into some trouble when he was about 14 years old. Chased a 9-year-old girl into her house with a butcher knife. Apparently he was trying to convince her 13-year-old sister to go downriver with him. Girls are very much on his mind.
Okay, kiddo. Okay, calm down. Carrie.
What happened?
The card. Carrie. You're okay.
Sweetheart, is there something wrong here? I don't see anything. This is unicorn.
Talk to me, sweetheart. Come on.
I'm cold, Pop.
Sal, see that over there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It may be a day or two old. Looks like they're headed for that high country.
Or northwest. Let's fish camp there tonight.
At your service.
No.
Nothing.
That girl. She never gave us a chance.
But it is just long enough. Sorry for the hassle. I don't think I could stand up under the shower.
I don't think I could haul you out of the tub. Hold on, sweetie. I'll be right back.
Okay. What's the matter? Just thinking. Thinking what? Biathlon training camp starts in 4 months.
Pancake syrup.
Well, it was them, all right. You know, it wouldn't have hurt if you'd called us a couple of days earlier.
Yeah. You ain't gonna catch them anyway. Not in these mountains.
Well, as long as I got a taste for pancakes and syrup, I might.
Well, I understand they broke the law and all that, but that girl's kind of asking for it, wasn't she? Running around in all those skimpy outfits.
I don't have to listen to this crap.
John, you know we've got to stop this. This isn't even our county. And Kay told me yesterday we've just about busted this year's budget already.
You know, these fools that think those two are such romantic mountain men. Well, now they feel if Jerry Swenson was their daughter, huh?
You can't take on all the world's troubles, John.
Yeah, but I can take on these two. Well, we'll just see how these two mountain men can take on a real Rocky Mountain winter.
Extend it, Carrie. Stretch. That's better.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carrie. Happy birthday to you.
Make it a good one.
All right.
Mama, you going to try it after Good.
Had to look all over town to get those candles that won't blow out.
Thank you, guys. Hey, Pumpkin, what about the present? Stop talking to me like I'm a baby. It'll get better. Will it? I feel like those creeps are still with me. I can't get rid of them.
Okay?
What's wrong with you? Why are you following me?
I saw you leave, and, I didn't think you should be alone.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I just have to deal with this by myself, okay?
Okay.
Looks like we're in for some weather.
Yep. South. Come on.
Come on, Daddy. Let's hurry up.
Seems like they were after food. Sugar, salt, granola.
Pancake mix and syrup.
How did you know?
Just a good guess.
In here, they took some books, Western paperbacks mostly, plus a coat from the closet and a pair of old snowshoes.
Looks like they're getting homesick.
Nissan's introduced more new cars in a year than anyone in history, plus a whole new attitude.
We got the power to make you move. We make you feel like driving. We make you feel like driving.
They're waiting for you, the wide-open Pulsar NX, the longest wide-body van, and Pathfinder, 4x4 of the year.
We make you feel like driving, and the name is Nissan.
The fiber in Kellogg's Mini Wheats helps keep me flying right, but it's the delicious frosting that fuels my youthful appetite.
Small problem. The shredded wheat nutrition gives me that drive, but the kid in me loves to tackle the tasty side.
Kellogg's Mini Wheats. Shredded wheat nutrition for the adult in you. Delicious taste for that part of you that'll never grow up.
The fiber in Mini Wheats gives me a great start. When it comes to the great taste, I'm just a kid at heart.
I'll have what she's having.
You wait for a special occasion to indulge yourself. You see, I suggest you try Campbell's latest gold label soups. The new Golden Classics. They're worth indulging in every day. Chicken vegetable with long grain and wild rice. Sirloin beef with potatoes and mushrooms. Cheese pasta tortellini, each with nothing artificial. Now, if you still need a special occasion, for heaven's sake, make one up. The Golden Classics.
Campbell's soup is good food.
Since you obviously can't taste a Score candy bar during a commercial, we'd like to show you what it tastes like. Score is one of the most luxurious, indulgent tastes imaginable. Sumptuous milk chocolate surrounding crunchy, buttery toffee. The next time you take a moment out during the day, make it a truly special moment. Indulge yourself with the rich, luxurious taste of Score.
All of these cough syrups treat a cough with exactly the same ingredient. Only Benylin has the powerful cough suppressant diphenhydramine, recommended by doctors for over 30 years. Benylin, our strength is your relief.
A family living the American dream. What is so powerful it can destroy a father's love for his daughter?
You are a liar and a cheat.
Lee Remick, as you've never seen her before.
This time they did something for their mother.
From the incredible story that really happened.
Did you kill your grandfather for him? I'm never gonna tell.
Nutcracker, coming March 22nd.
In France, nuclear power generates an abundance of cheap electricity and vast profits. In America, we'd like to know how they do it. An NBC News special Wednesday.
That squad car's transmission had to be replaced. $476.42. Chopper fuel, $300.75. And you've had me on overtime. I don't want to tell you how many hours.
Oh, let me guess.
Yeah. Rancher named Moore over in Cold Springs spotted 2 men up in the hills on his property.
France know about this?
Madison County people haven't been able to get a hold of them. That's why Gary called over here.
Cold Springs? That's not just over the county line. That's way over into Madison.
Well, what should we do, boys?
You hear that? It's another one. It's a chopper.
Let's eat.
Chopper's going to be the spotter. He'll go in first so nobody gets hurt. He'll run them to the ground and coordinate with whoever happens to be the handiest. Is that clear?
Who's going to be in a chopper?
Well, I will if you like. You want to run the show down here?
Fine. What I'd like to do first is take Moore's snowmobile and go up and look at those tracks. Just see them for myself. I'll be right back.
All right, let's work together on this. Everybody cooperate.
They're coming. There's one guy that I can see.
Well, if you some kind of idiot, a lawman would never come in alone like that. We could shoot him easy.
Or we could keep moving.
Then what?
What do you mean? We still got time. They won't catch us. They can never catch us if we don't want them to. You know that.
How long you think you can go?
I can go as long as you can go. Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that?
You boys seen any coyotes? Now, don't do anything stupid.
There's France. Johnny, 10-9, what you got?
Got a couple of guys want to ride.
Better get me down there fast.
They caught him, Carrie.
Look at those mountains. Isn't it great to be enjoying something like that? You don't think so?
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's the most pleasurable life you can know out here.
Well, if it looks to you guys, I wonder.
What? Think we had it rough? We've been living a hell of a lot better than you have, I'll tell you that. You don't know what it's like to live free. Really free.
Ready, Carrie?
I can't do this.
You have to.
Don't you understand? I have to compete next week.
All right. Do you really think you can win? Do you put all this out of your mind?
new Olds Cutlass Sierra Coupe. As different as day and night.
Now get 3.9% financing or up to $1,200 cash back, depending on the options you buy.
We're making breakfast by the hand. You can take it by the hand. Snap you, it starts today. You can shake it, you can roll it, you can pop it, you can roll it, but it's made me start on the way.
Big up inside and fresh. It's at their best.
Five delicious kinds. It's a sign of the time. It's a good time. Only great taste of McDonald's. Breakfast by the hand. By the hand.
To break free. To reach new heights. Master new skills. To meet the world on its terms and yours. Feel the pride. Show the world your U.S. Navy. Live the adventure. Call 1-800-327-NAVY.
You're listening to Children of Japan. This joyous and beautiful sound comes to you from Delta Airlines, because Delta is flying to Tokyo, gateway to the Orient. Come with us to a land steeped in tradition, yet as modern as tomorrow. We'll fly you to the gracious charm of the Far East with all the comfort of the familiar West. Delta to Japan.
Tomorrow night, don't miss the special 2-hour movie premiere, Rags to Riches. They were 6 orphans fighting to stay together, and only one man could make their dreams come true. It's a story that'll touch your heart. Rags to Riches at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
I'm Bryant Gumbel. This week on Today, a special 4-part series on dreams.
I'm Jane Pauley, also Jane Fonda, Dennis Hopper, and Jimmy Stewart.
This week on Today.
Now stay tuned for the local news on most of these NBC stations.
He had everything that money could buy. Everything but his own family.
Oh, my God.
But on Monday, these orphans are going to change his life.
You want me to bring 6 girls into my house?
Are you mad? Watch him go from rags to riches, Monday.
I love those kids.
Oh, baby, that's what I like.
Coming up next on the Channel 5 News, the winds are kicking up again along the lakefront and a dramatic change in Chicago's weather. We will have the latest.
Also ahead, investigators now believe human error is to blame for the tragic ferry boat sinking in the English Channel.
We will see how the Hispanic vote will affect the 4-way race for mayor now that Jane Byrne is no longer a factor.
And the FBI grabs a big one on their most wanted list. We'll have those stories and more next on the Channel 5 News.
Are you ready for summer? The competition is.
What? You're not ready for summer? Gained a few pounds? Well, summer's coming, and you've got to get ready.
Let's go surfing now. Everybody's learning how. Come on a safari with me. Come on a safari with me.
Why should you worry about shaping up for summer in the middle of winter?
Join Chicago Health Club now and pay no dues till October. Some restrictions apply.
Hi, I'm Rich Hall, and I've just made an important discovery while on the road for Pizza Hut. Wheat. Whole wheat. It's what Pizza Hut puts in their new Golden Pan Pizza. See, Golden Pan Pizza has a unique whole wheat crust and a delicious blend of mozzarella and cheddar cheese. But you better try new Golden Pan Pizza right away, because it's available for a limited time only. Why? I don't know why. They didn't tell me.
Ford Escort GT. Pretty hot looking, huh? Loaded, too. Right down to the power steering and the split-back rear seat. And the base price was over $1,500 less than Toyota Corolla.
And right now, you can get your Ford dealer's best deal yet. 3.9% financing and up to $600 cash back on Escort. Not one or the other. You get both. Plus, take advantage of Ford's new 6-year, 60,000-mile warranty.
Just a good, solid value on the world's best-selling car. I found some quality people and a quality product, Ford Escort.
Volunteer at the wildest place in town, Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago.
Live on Channel 5. This is the 10 o'clock news with Daryl David and the Channel 5 news team. Jim Tillman with weather and Mark Goldberg with sports. The Channel 5 news at 10.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Topping our news tonight, the weather is changing, and it's changing rapidly. This afternoon, we set a record high temperature. Tonight, the temperature is dropping fast, and the wind is off the lake. It's starting to blow very hard.
Channel 5's Ray Suarez is at 6100 North on the lakefront right now. Ray, what is the situation out there?
Well, Mary, it feels like the temperature is dropping like a rock. There are waves of 5 to 10 feet, and the winds are at about 35 miles an hour with gusts even higher. With me, braving the winds, is Commissioner Halpin of the Department of Streets and Sanitation. Commissioner, we're not going to have the same problems that we did last month with the Seiche, are we?
No, I don't anticipate that. However, we could have problems along the shore in certain areas, especially South Shore and the North Shore here, where there's properties adjacent to the lake.
How high do the winds have to get before you really have to start worrying about these waves coming over the breakwalls?
Well, right now, and there's places which will come up right now because we have 25-mile-an-hour winds at this time, I understand, to the north, and they're going to be this way all night long. However, at 35 miles an hour, I start worrying about sewer problems and what have you, but we're here to assist the public in any way we can.
Thanks a lot, Commissioner, and as you can see, the winds are high enough to just give us a good, healthy dousing there. Back to you in the studio.
Ray, thank you, and Jim Tillman joins us now to explain how this big change came about, Jim.
Well, it came about because we had a front move through the Chicago area, which we predicted last night. As it did move through, it not only dropped temperatures, it also created a great deal of wind out of the north and northeast. You can see how that wind at this moment has been kicking up winds along the lakefront, 34 to 52 mile-an-hour gusts. And, of course, the wind extends all the way back into northern Minnesota. We'll have to deal with all of that. It'll take another 12 to 18 hours before it'll all be over. This afternoon, we saw a dramatic drop in temperature accompanying that frontal movement. It started out about 4 o'clock this afternoon with around 71 degrees, and by 7 o'clock this evening, 42 degrees was our temperature, a drop which was somewhere in the neighborhood of 28 to 30 degrees in a very short length of time. A little later on, I'll give you more details on just how long that wind is going to last and how much trouble we really expect from it.
Thank you, Jim.
Last month's primary election was hotly contested at all levels, but was it also tainted by tens of thousands of fraudulent ballots? Channel 5's Rick Salinger says that Mayor Washington is scoffing at reports of widespread vote fraud.
I don't believe it.
The mayor called mind-boggling reports in the Tribune that 50 to 100,000 votes may have been fraudulently cast in the February primary. The source of the estimates, projections from the Board of Elections Chairman Mike Lavelle and former U.S. Attorney Dan Webb, a Republican and election watchdog.
This information, if we can call it that, has to be looked at with a jaundiced eye, and I will.
The mayor won his race by some 80,000 votes.
If the reports of the vote fraud are true, chances are it would not have affected the outcome of the mayoral primary. But there are several aldermanic races that it could have.
There were close races for second and a spot in the April 7th runoffs in the 21st Ward, 27th Ward, 34th Ward, and in the 16th Ward. There, James Tyson Jr. finished third by 385 votes. He blames vote fraud.
I feel that it's a substantial likelihood that some irregularities and illegalities took place in this election, which prevented me from being in the runoff.
You feel you were cheated?
Yeah, that's correct.
One example in another ward. This is a vacant lot near 40th and King Drive. A man named Charles Riddle reportedly used it as his address and voted. But when we asked folks in the neighborhood where he lived... You know Charles Riddle? Does he live here?
Charles
Riddle? Does he live in this vacant lot?
I don't know.
No? It was a riddle to them. Rick Salinger, Channel 5 News.
These and other examples of alleged vote fraud are expected to be turned over to the state's attorney and U.S. attorney's offices later this week.
And, Daryl, another factor in the April election involves a growing category of voters. Those are Hispanic voters. Channel 5's Ray Suarez reports Mayor Washington could be the beneficiary, according to a study by the Midwest Voter Registration Project.
If anything, it was going to be a plurality vote in favor of Jane Byrne, or if any one of the two carried the Hispanic vote, it was going to be Jane Byrne. What we found instead was that Harold Washington pulled the Hispanic vote 52.2%.
This is the Harold Washington, who drew 13% of the Hispanic vote in the 1983 Democratic primary. Juan Andrade says the 4-year improvement is due in large part to Washington's endorsement of a Puerto Rican for city clerk, Gloria Chévere.
The strategy to put an Hispanic on the ticket to run citywide, it helped them across the board among Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Central and South Americans.
Though registration efforts have been stepped up through the last 4 years, so many Hispanic voters have been purged from the rolls, the total is still just over 100,000. But politicians still see Latinos as a vote to be courted. Thomas Hines opened a campaign office last night in one Hispanic neighborhood. Tonight, Edward Verdoliak attended a rally at the Hilton thrown by Hispanics for Verdoliak.
And when you see the gang signs on the sides of buildings, you don't own that community anymore. They do. And we don't have enough police because Harold Washington is not a police fan.
But Andrade says the split Democratic primary vote becomes a block on Election Day, and that's good news for one man, Harold Washington.
I think we can readily expect the Hispanic vote to stay solid, probably in the 65 to 75% range for the Democratic nominee at a minimum.
Ray Suarez, Channel 5 News.
And the Midwest Voter Registration Project will officially release its analysis of the primary vote tomorrow.
In national politics, immunity will be the subject of a meeting this week between leaders of the congressional probes of the Iran's arms deal. That meeting is scheduled for Tuesday. Senate Democratic leader Robert Byrd says the House and Senate Select Committees are leaning toward granting limited immunity to Oliver North and John Poindexter to see what they know about the arms dealings.
And still ahead tonight on the Channel 5 News, investigators think they have now pinned down the cause of that deadly ferry sinking in the English Channel.
And later on Sports Sunday, Lady Luck was with the DePaul today for the pairings in the NCAA Championship Tournament.
The Channel 5 News is being sponsored in part by Carson Perry Scott and Illinois Bell.
Carson, I'm in love. It's the daytime. Spring fever. We've got everything.
Where's Boyne Boulevard?
Oh, Boyne is next to Hoyne. You take a corner, take 2 quick lefts and then a right. Don't worry about it because you're only a few blocks away anyway. Right.
Who says getting there is half the fun?
What's new at Jewel this week? A wide variety of Lenten menu values, like chicken of the sea solid white tuna, just 99 cents for a 6.5-ounce can. Create delicious Lenten meals with assorted varieties of Mrs. Grass noodles, only 79 cents a package. And reel in the savings on Gordon's Value Pack fish sticks, a 32-ounce package, just $2.79. For a wide variety of Lenten menu values,
take a new look at an old friend, Jewel.
Hello, Citicorp Savings. I'd like to take $200 from checking to pay my Visa. Oh, and I'd better move $300 from my money market to checking. And take $500 from my money.
Wouldn't it be nice if banking was this simple? Introducing the new Citi One account from Citicorp Savings. One account that lets you move your money between checking, money market, and Visa with one simple statement each month.
One idea that's simple and makes sense.
Citi One. The city is built for you.
Today's recovery of 2 more bodies brings the number of confirmed deaths in Friday's British ferry disaster to 53. 83 passengers and crew remain missing as the grieving and search for a cause continue. An investigation and salvage operation began today to find out why the ferry Herald of Free Enterprise rolled over and sank so quickly on Friday night. A makeshift morgue has been set up, and throughout the day, families have been checking in to find out whether relatives' bodies have been recovered. Salvage operations have begun to right the ship. More bodies are expected to be found when authorities can get deeper into the ferry's hold. A new problem was quickly brought under control when barrels of toxic chemicals began to wash out of the ship's open rear doors today. Sea nets were quickly spread over the openings to contain the barrels. Authorities have now ruled out that the ferry hit an underwater sandbar or a seawall. The ship's open rear doors have been now narrowed down to the accident's cause. Apparently, the ship's doors have been left open several times on recent sailings. German Captain Wolfgang Schroeder was the last person to see the ship before it left its pier.
As I said, we saw the ferry going past us with her bow doors open still.
Church services were held on both sides of the English Channel today. In Derby, Reverend Alan Simper asked for prayers for an 8-year-old boy who lost his entire family in the accident.
His mother and father, his grandparents, and an aunt died on the ship.
The West German builder of the ferry says until this tragedy, the vessel had no problems whatsoever since it was built 7 years ago.
And here at home, 3 Southside men are dead tonight after their car crashed into a CTA bus. The accident occurred just before dawn this morning when the driver of the car lost control. He was making a left turn off eastbound Archer Avenue onto California. The only one on the bus was the driver. She was shaken but not injured.
Jim Tillman joins us now. And what about it, Jim? Another big blowout in the lake.
Well, we have a pretty good blow, but right now it doesn't look like it's going to be one of the kinds of blows that creates a lot of damage in water over Lakeshore Drive. It is serious, however, and lots of weather news for you tonight. Stick around.
Fed up with the same old cheeseburger? Try Arby's beef and cheddar topped with tangy cheddar cheese sauce and taste the Arby's difference.
Looking for a faster, easier way to deliver lasso herbicides to your fields? Get the Shuttle Mini Bulk system. It's a real time saver. Shuttle, the new service from your lasso herbicide dealer.
This is my mom. And if everything I say about the four-wheel drive Isuzu Trooper 2 isn't true, may she be struck by lightning. It can carry a symphony orchestra or every book in the Library of Congress. And the nice part is the Trooper 2 starts at just $10.80. Get my mom's word on it. Mom? Visit your Chicagoland Isuzu dealer now or send a check to me, Joe Isuzu.
G'day, America. Now pay attention, because this is important stuff. Before you come down under for your Aussie holiday, you've got to get in shape. Tone up those relaxing muscles, because they'll get a workout. Practice smiling, sleeping in late, and saying no worries, mate.
No worries, mate.
Work hard. You'll soon get the hang of it. There's a fella working flat out on his Aussie holiday. Keep up the good work, mate. Workaholic.
Now say g'day to my Aussie shop, Koala Blue. But for the real Australia, hop on a kangaroo. G'day begins in my Melbourne. You go to Melbourne first because the real Australia is so close to my Melbourne. And my mum. Melbourne's like a great menu. Lots of choices at once. See it for yourself, I say. In Melbourne, not Melbourne. And now you're speaking Australian, call for your free Aussie brochures.
Instead of the usual good deal at Midas, here's a deal that's unusually good.
Now the Economizer's only $19.95 installed on most cars and comes with a 1-year guarantee.
The FBI is checking fugitive and folk hero Claude Dallas off the 10 most wanted list tonight. The convicted killer was captured tonight in Los Angeles. Dallas escaped from prison in Idaho last year. He was serving time for murdering 2 game wardens. His story is the subject, of course, of 2 books and a television movie. Details of tonight's arrest are still sketchy.
Well, we all know how quickly things can change in the weather department, but they really changed quickly tonight.
Yes, they did. They went from springtime to winter, and we not only did that, but we had a lot of wind. And that's a live picture right now that you see out on the shore of Lake Michigan. The waves are relatively high. We were reported early 5 to 10-foot waves are common along the lake shore, and you can expect to see that continue for the next at least 12 to 18 hours. Lakeshore winds are going to be with us, so do beware and be aware of the fact that they're going to continue for that length of time. However, at this point, it does not look like we'll be closing any of the drives or anything like that, quite that drastic. Overcast skies, though, visibility 10 miles. The temperature way down now, 37 to 39 degrees. The winds north, 29, gusts to 37 miles an hour. Right now, no need for the humidifier. A little later on tonight, you may need it. High, 72 degrees. The low today, of course, is present 37 degrees, and temperature still falling. Shower activity across the southeastern states. We see this ring of clouds that has moved up over the Chicago area today after a gorgeous day, a record-breaking day. Records were set back in 1897 were broken today. And we see that the end of the clouds is way out here in Wisconsin. Don't expect to see our clouds clear appreciably until inland, at least, late tomorrow or into Tuesday. The temperatures will be relatively cold. That's cold air moving in out of Canada. And you can see that by tomorrow we will have just a glimpse of sun from time to time, but the clouds will certainly be around the lake front, and the winds will continue strong out of the northeast. A huge dome of high pressure out of Canada has been moving down toward the south, creating those very strong winds. A little rain on the southeast, snow out to the west, but no threat for us. We won't see any precipitation like that until very late in the week. The temperatures tomorrow, well, don't look for it a warm day. With all that wind and the cold temperatures, it's going to really feel like the dead of winter. The temperature line showing the freeze line right across the center of the city of Chicago, and colder air to the north will be moving in overnight tomorrow night. Cloudy skies in early tomorrow morning, and a colder morning, a possibility of a snow shower, particularly near Lake Michigan. The lows 26 to 30 degrees, winds northeast 20 to 30 miles per hour tomorrow morning, at sunrise at 6:13. So it'll be a very, very gusty morning, and gusty all day long, with mostly cloudy skies in the afternoon, a much colder afternoon than what you saw today. The high today 72, well, the high tomorrow 30 to 36 degrees, and very windy northeast winds 20 to 35 miles an hour. Sunset at 5:15, and we are still very concerned about the lake shore. We will still have some very high winds that will be diminishing very slowly during the afternoon tomorrow. 36 degrees in for the high temperature tomorrow, and some sunshine on Tuesday, but a high of 26 degrees, and we could have some snow showers from time to time around the lake shore throughout the day tomorrow and tomorrow night. 38 degrees and a little sun on Wednesday, and rain mixed with snow perhaps on Thursday. Too early to tell for sure, and we won't warm up anymore until at least next weekend, and it's too early to tell whether we'll have anything near what we had this week, and I kind of doubt it, to tell you the truth.
Oh,
thank you, Tim.
Right. We'll take what we got. And now political editor Dick Kay with his view of the debate over the debate. Dick?
Darrell, Mayor Washington should have said up front he does not want to debate and gotten on with his campaign. After the initial storm of protest, reporters and voters might have turned their attention to the issues, something we've heard very little about. But as it stands, the debate over the debate is dominating this campaign. It might be deliberate. No one is asking about the mess at the CHA or how the mayor plans to fund the next city budget or whether he will close police precinct stations or reduce firefighting strength. Everyone is asking whether there'll be a debate. But if the mayor had said simply he would not debate, we would have regarded that as business as usual. The mayor has refused to appear with Ed Verdoliak for 4 years, and there would have been no reason to begin appearances now with Thomas Hines. But the mayor chose a route which put his credibility on the line. The mayor said unequivocally he would debate anyone. Then privately, his surrogates tried to impose what they thought would be unacceptable conditions and derail the debate. The conditions they sought had no merit. The mayor is obligated to debate his record and Chicago's future, and all candidates are entitled to equal access to the podium once the mayor has taken the public stand, as he has, that he will debate. And now the candidates have accepted his conditions. So Mayor Washington can now debate or duck, but he should decide soon, because the talk about whether he will or won't doesn't do a thing to help taxpayers decide whose hand they want in their pockets. And I'm Dick Kay.
This one tastes better.
Well, here's the one you like, Don.
Old Style Light.
In this taste test, Don Wells preferred Old Style Light over his regular beer.
Light beer familiar.
But that's the one you drink.
That's true.
Did you know Old Style Light is a fully croissant light beer?
It tastes better. This is a better light beer. Maybe it's in the poisoning. I've seen this out, but I really never even thought about picking it up.
Taste Old Style Light. Once you try it, you'll see the light.
Next time I buy light beer, I'm going to buy Old Style Light.
This area has been chosen for a direct market evaluation to be held this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday only. Special factory-authorized 3.9% APR financing, plus cash rebates to customers, will provide substantially reduced market evaluation prices not normally available to the public. If you have a trade-in, please bring your title or payment book to help an immediate delivery of your new Ford. This program is being held only at Al Pomate Ford on North Avenue in Melrose Park and Arlington Heights Ford on Dundee Road.
Great news. We've turned on a brand new radio station on your AM dial.
September morn.
It's the new Cozy 820 AM with easygoing favorites of the 60s, 70s, and 80s in AM stereo.
Never thought I'd see this.
More variety. Turn on the new Cozy radio at exactly 820 on your AM dial. All music, all memories.
A melting pot of old and new, a place to let your dreams come true. Chicago, pork bellies, Polish deli. ride in autumn skies. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Chicago, we're putting you first.
We're building side by side. We put you first, Chicago. We're the first Chicago's bank.
Well, Mark Goldberg is off today. Warner Saunders is coming up next with Sports Sunday, a preview for us.
Oh, yes, we do have that. A big night in Sports Sunday. We'll be joined by DePaul coach Joey Meyer to discuss the big one, the NCAA tournament, starting this weekend at the Rosemont Horizon. March Madness is in full force all across America. As usual, sane adults go to just a bit out of their minds over college basketball. All this coming up on Sports Sunday.
Great. We'll be looking forward to it.
All right.
Well, how'd you like to buy a house for $10? Not a dollhouse, a full-size home with bedrooms, bathrooms, living room, the works. $10. Peter and Susan Allen just did that in Providence, Rhode Island. They bought it from Brown University, but there is a catch, as you might have expected. They have to move the house off of Brown University property, and that's going to cost them $50,000. That's a little bit more than $10, but even that sounds like a pretty good deal,
It's not a bad deal, no. Of course, you might have a few loose windows when you get to it.
Yeah, maybe.
We leave you tonight with thoughts of how wonderful this weekend was before this cold front set in. Have a good night, a great night, and a great week to you.
Good night.
French toast. To go? Yeah, to go. French toast sticks. To go. Burger King, the best food for fast times. Breakfast to go. Crust sandwich. That's crust sandwich. Burger King, the best food for fast times.
Now, Lincoln Mercury Mercour brings you the highest quality American cars with 3.9% financing, plus up to $600 cash back on Mercury Topaz, Lynx, and Mercour XR4 Ti. Remember, our cars have been rated the best-built American cars for 6 consecutive years. And now we back it up with a 6-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. So don't think only of low finance rates. Consider the quality of the product. See your Lincoln Mercury Mercour dealer now.
Some days, driving's a real challenge. That's why you need American Family Auto Insurance. Our fast claim service, low rates, and multiple car, good student, and accident-free discounts have made us industry leaders. So why go it alone? Call an American Family agent today. We'll protect you on the road and off.
American Family Insurance.
Look in the white or yellow pages for the American Family agent nearest you.
In 18th century America, life was different. It still is. Come back in time to colonial Williamsburg. Come, taste the different foods, hear the different sounds, smell the different smells, meet the different people. For a vacation that's totally different, come to colonial Williamsburg, where 18th century America lives.
The new Newlywed Game, now weeknights at 6:30 here on Channel 5.
Live on Channel 5, this is the complete wrap-up of the weekend in sports on Sports Sunday.
Good evening, I'm Warner Saunders, and welcome to tonight's edition of Sports Sunday. Joining me is DePaul coach Joey Meyer as we both talk about the upcoming NCAA college basketball tournament and get a look at those pairings. Well, welcome. I guess you're relieved. Is relief a good word for it? This is the first time you're going to be at home.
I don't know if that's relief. You're excited now. You want to get after it. And I want to know a little bit more about Louisiana Tech and get to practice and get ready for it.
64 teams, 32 games leading down to New Orleans for the championship. You guys are in the Midwest at the Rosemont Horizon. First time you are at home, but a tough opponent in Louisiana Tech. This is not a fun team, is it not?
No, not at all. 22-7, played UNLV to a 4-point game at UNLV. A tempo type of team, type like Marquette, that plays with a low-scoring game, hold the ball, use the shot clock. They've had a real fine year, and they're real disappointed that they're the 14th seed. They think they should be much higher than that.
Yeah, when you heard that, that really kind of struck fear into everybody's heart. Okay, let's go to Midwest and Indianapolis. Of course, Indiana playing Fairfield. They look like they just got a bye on that one. I mean, that was really not much at all. Indiana against Fairfield, Auburn versus San Diego. Duke got Texas A&M. Was going to be a tough game, I think, out there. Yeah, now, what happens when that's finished? We're going to certainly say that you guys will be there. Now, then you go where?
Geez, you're getting ahead of the game here.
Oh, God, let's get you out and right away to New Orleans.
We got to go 2 games in the Horizon to win those 2, and then we go to Cincinnati if we can get by those 2 games.
I asked you before earlier today, home court advantage and advantage in this kind of thing?
Oh, I think so. I think Saturday there, our crowd got into the game as much as it ever has, and I think it really helped our defense. It got us excited. I think it picked up our intensity level. I think it can really help us in the tournament. Out in the West region, the #1 team in the nation, UNLV, is at Salt Lake City, and they're going to be playing Idaho State. Now, that should be I think that should be a reasonably easy game for, or can you even say those kind of things? Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself then. I think, there's always that chance, but it doesn't look like it right here. What about in the West at Tucson? Of course, there we've got Iowa against Santa Clara. Well, I think Iowa's in a good position. They're going to have to beat Arizona on their home court probably to get out of there, and that'll be extremely difficult. But the team out there that I think could really surprise a lot of teams is Virginia. They're up in that upper bracket with UNLV, and they just play such a fine tournament type of team, and I think that's going to be a little difficult for UNLV. I'm just looking at the East at Charlotte. Of course, that's Notre Dame playing Mid-Tennessee State. They got a cakewalk there. Now, don't say that. Those things can hurt. You know who was a number 12 seed last year in our first round game? That was DePaul. So, those teams can be extremely difficult at times. North Carolina versus Penn on this one, and Navy against Michigan. That really ought to be a hot tournament. Oh, that's going to be I think one of the better matchups will be Navy against Michigan, and obviously North Carolina is a heavy favorite in that region. And, of course, Purdue, which just kind of collapsed, is in the East at Syracuse on Friday. They're playing Northeastern, a very good team. Right, I saw them last year against Oklahoma, almost beat Oklahoma in the first round. Northeastern is real capable. I like Illinois' chances down in the Southeast at Birmingham. Here, Illinois is playing Austin Peay. Now, nobody knows about Austin Peay, but there's a good chance that Illinois can come out of that one pretty well unscathed. But I see Alabama's name down there, and that doesn't help. Well, to come out of there, if UAB beats Providence, they'll have to beat UAB on their home court, and then have to beat Alabama at Birmingham, which is almost like their home court. So they've got a tough stretch right there. Okay, Ohio State is versus Kentucky in the Southeast at Atlanta on Friday. Of course, Georgetown's in that one also. How do you see that one? Well, I think the Ohio State-Kentucky game is a great matchup. I think Georgetown should be the favorite. I think they are a very good team and playing exceptionally well right now. But you'd have to think that Georgetown would be one to come out of there. But don't forget about Clemson. I still think Clemson's got a heck of a team. Yeah, I know you like Clemson. Why are you that high on them? Harvey Grant, 6'10", can play a ton. I think those big guys mean a lot when you get to tournament time. The aircraft carriers do the job for you. Is DePaul a healthy team right now? I said it last night. I said I think they're pretty well prepared, at least mentally, to go into the game. I know you have these little nagging injuries toward the end of the season, as it is with any team, but physically and mentally, DePaul ready? I think so. And something, I think our team is kind of aggravated that we're the number 3 seed instead of number 2. And I think, that lack of respect that people have for what this team has accomplished, I think is going to help us help our team be motivated. And of course, Dallas has to say to himself, this is the final opportunity. What am I talking about, first opportunity? This is the final opportunity for me to go out in a big splash. It also means something in terms of Dallas's moving into the NBA in terms of a high ranking there, does it not? Well, there's a lot of reasons for Dallas to play well. He's a winner. He likes to win first off, and he'll do what it takes. If it's score, rebound, block shots, I think he's really set to have a big tournament. Mm-hmm. Now, Louisiana Tech plays this slow kind of plodding game, much like Marquette. What do you do to counter that? Well, I don't think Louisiana, they will run a little bit, and so will Marquette, but I think people feel we run the ball so well that they like to slow it down against us. You got to try to trap them a little bit. You try to do different things to pick up the tempo, but you may not be able to. So you might have to win the game playing in their style and hope that you can get that one spurt like we did against Marquette to win the game.
Who else this year has taken the air out of the ball against you guys?
I think the team that did the most was LaSalle. They went 4 corners, and, you know, Dean Smith, the first possession of the game. We've faced a lot of slow-down teams, and so I think we'll be prepared mentally to play against that style because we played it a lot this year.
Do you worry about your youngsters on the team? And if you've got a senior, you've got a big, dominating senior center. But now I'm talking about the guys around him, your youngsters, the guys who have not been there before.
You know, the only player of our 7 that play for us a lot that hasn't played an NCAA tournament is Kevin Edwards. The rest of them have been involved with the tournament and have won 2 games. And when people talk about past history, DePaul always fails. These players haven't seen any of that. You know, even Dallas Comage is the only one who lost the first rounder, but we weren't supposed to beat Syracuse that year. So I think this team's used to winning, and I think one thing we're going to be aggressive.
There's no question about that. I know you'll be on the boards as much as you possibly can. Is this a tall team, by the way?
6'8", 6'8", 6'5", but they're a very good rebounding team, and that's one of their strengths, offensive rebounding, which is one of our weaknesses, defensive rebounding. So I think that's something we're really going to have to concentrate on this week.
Okay, thanks, Coach. You want to stick around and take a look at this? All right, here are some of the biggest tournament games. The big upset of the day came in the ACC final in Landover, Maryland. Let's look at it. In the ACC tournament final, North Carolina overcame a 7-point deficit to tie it late in the second half on a turnaround by J.R. Reed, the super freshman. But NC State's Wolfpack took it back when Chucky Brown converted the alley-oop to make it 64-64. North Carolina was out-hustled on the boards all day long. Big Mike Giomi making it 66-64 in the tip-in for NC State. The Tar Heels were down by 1 inside 1 minute when Vinny Del Negro loses the inbounds pass. Carolina got it to Kenny Smith. He took it to the hole to make it 67-66, North Carolina. But Del Negro got it back with a pair of foul shots. That put NC State up 68-67. Then came the wild finish. Joe Wolf missed from the outside. Ranzino Smith will throw up an air ball, and NC State got it to upset number 2 North Carolina 68-67 to win the ACC tournament. Watch your buddy Jim Valvano as his Wolfpack just goes crazy. Are these guys happy about? Look at Valvano. You just love to see that happen for him. In the Big East, Georgetown's All-American Reggie Williams fires a 3-pointer just in time to beat the half buzzer as the Hoyas take a 39-33 lead into the locker room. Williams continued to score. He got 24 on this jam. That ends the cakewalk with a 69-59 victory over Syracuse. Out at the Omni in Atlanta, you're going to see a friend of yours, Coach Wimp Sanderson of Alabama and Coach Dale Brown of LSU. They hooked up today. It was the Crimson Tide who came out on top. Look at Terry Connor drive up the middle for the easy score, and there it goes in. And the inside game was taken care of by Derek McKee, who pulls up, fires in the paint. Bama beats LSU 69-62. In the Southwest Conference, Texas A&M's coach Shelby Metcalf watches as Darryl McDonald helps his coach and the team to a 71-46 win over Baylor. Yes, the Aggies are in the NCAA this year. The Tar Heels upset by NC State in the Big East. It's all Georgetown. Bama no trouble with LSU. In the Southwest, you saw A&M take care of Baylor. Missouri still strong in the Big 8. They nipped Kansas. In the Pac-10, UCLA a 76-64 winner. Also, the Bulls give a few pointers to the Dallas Mavericks, but Michael Jordan gets a hip pointer in return.
With a big 3-point play.
Don't want no loving, don't want no kissing.
Don't want no man to call me honey.
Don't want my name in the Hall of Fame.
Want a big fat pile of money.
Now give me that almighty dollar for that lettuce. Let me holler.
Give me buckets full of ducats. Just let me walk around and waller. In Mazuma, El Dinero, I want to be a millionaire. Just give me that money.
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 Money. Money.
Play the Illinois Jackpot Instant Game. Y'all can rope in $1 million.
When you're all thumbs, Handy Andy is all help.
Chicagoland's best deals and largest selection of new and used cars and trucks.
It's
racing in Chicago. They're in Schaumburg and Libertyville with the Patrick Dealer Group. And no one will sell or lease a new Mitsubishi or Subaru for less than Patrick, with more than 600 available, including the all-new Prius and Justy from $51.95. Patrick Cadillac, BMW and Saab in Schaumburg. Mitsubishi and Subaru in Schaumburg. Pontiac, GMC trucks and Mitsubishi in Libertyville, where you can buy or lease for less.
If you were your car and you needed new brakes, you'd go to the $49.95 CarX Brake Bonanza. Right now, CarX gives you brakes you can trust, a lifetime guarantee on shoes and pads, and a price that's a stopper. The $49.95 Brake Bonanza, because CarX cares. Right now, pay just $49.95 for an expert CarX brake package at the $49.95 CarX Brake Bonanza. Now.
Hi, and welcome back. Although the Bulls are looking good on the court, the rift between Charles Oakley and Coach Doug Collins is alive and stewing again. But the story on the court today was, yeah, you guessed it, Michael Jordan against Dick Motta's Mavericks. Let's go to that one. It boiled down to the closing minutes, the Bulls taking a 97-94 lead on this hanging move by Michael, who scored 33 points on the day. The Mavericks battled back to send the game into OT. Nobody was covering Sam Perkins at the corner, so Mr. Perkins steps out there, and he knocks down a three-pointer. That made it 97 all on the play. Jordan came up lame with a hip pointer, suffered when he was knocked to the floor. The Bulls took a 103-99 lead in the overtime when 23-point scorer Gene Banks drove the length of the court. Then Jordan returned to action and sank an off-balance shot with Mavs hanging all over his arms to make it 106-101 Chicago. It was tough moments later when Perkins misses the turnaround. Jordan, barely able to move, got the rebound and outlet pass to Banks, who hit Charles Oakley for the clincher. The Bulls beat the Mavericks 115-105 as Jordan limps to the locker room. Ouch. The Pistons took the Celtics at the Silverdome today. Isaiah Thomas bombs away from the three-point lane. That ought to be a four-point lane. 109-107 lead. The game went into overtime. Isaiah saved his best shot for last. Look at this shot as the Pistons beat the Larry Birdless Celtics 122-119. The Bulls play Atlanta tomorrow. Boston lost with the Bird. Golden State blows San Antonio away. The Trailblazers take it to Houston. The Dallas Sidekicks in soccer dropped by the horizon and stung the Sting in a pretty high-scoring affair. Let's look at it. Dallas was leading 5-3 in the fourth period when Frankie Klopas scores in front of the goal mouth. 5-4 Dallas. The Sting seemed to be closing in. Later on in the fourth, the Sting's Pat McGauley tied the score on a fine piece with a nice pass from Frank Klopas right there. But it was not enough. The Sidekicks' Mark Corpen scores. That made it 6-5. The Sting falls behind. That sets the stage for the colorful Tattoo. Watch Mr. Tattoo. He's going to fake the guy right out, move right around him, in for the shot. Tattoo undresses as Dallas wins it 7-5. Next, the Blackhawks continue their push for the Stanley Cup playoffs as Sports Sunday continues. Stay with us.
There comes a time when little wheels discover big wheels and fall for a car like Dodge Daytona. Because who else gives you features like front-wheel drive, a 770 protection plan, and the sheer thrill of high-performance driving, all at an extremely reasonable price. No one else but Dodge. That's who.
Hey, sis, go easy on the gas.
Dodge, setting new standards of performance.
In recent years, most innovations in frozen pizza have come in the area of crust. Thicker crusts, thinner crusts, lighter crusts, crustier crusts. Double Top Pizza from Tombstone puts the crust where it belongs, on the bottom of the top. And our crusts are doing double duty because Double Top doubles the toppings. Double the meat, double the cheese, double the taste. Double Top Pizza from Tombstone. You'll think twice before you buy anything else.
In Paris, you can tell how impressive a bank is by the magnificence of its entranceway. In Amsterdam, by the rank of imposing guards posted by the doors. And in London,
isn't it just disgraceful how that vagabond behaves?
Yes, but he sure is funny.
dog! Look what you've done to me!
Oops, sorry about the mess.
Typical. Do you know what ice cream does to dog fur?
Why, thank you, Foofer. At least you're a gentleman.
No, got you now, you stubborn Mikael!
Oh, we have to save him, Bert.
That lowlife? Come, Dolly.
Stay out! Oh, I'm glad I'm not a Irish setter. Won't be able to settle for a week.
I tell you, chicks are bad medicine, Doctor.
But you cannot say no to love, Fancy darling. Yes, no?
He's gonna ask Dolly for a date, aren't you, Uncle Foofer?
Well, my little anticipatory angel, when the time is right, the foof will strike.
Oh, I wish Louis would buy or send or give me flowers.
Face it, Annabelle, he's hopeless.
Thanks for the amusing lunch, Bert.
Look, that's the new girl I wanted Foofer to meet.
I'll pick you up at 8 then. Ciao.
Hazel, how do you like our shop? Oh, heavenly.
Annabelle, meet Dolly. She and her mistress, Miss Bloom, opened a week ago. I see you've already met Bird.
Yes, he lives right above us in the penthouse.
Well, I'd move then if I were you.
Hello again, Foofer.
Hi, Dolly.
I see you two have already met.
Well, we sort of ran into each other.
Wonderful. Dolly can come by tonight, and you two can talk, and...
I could show you some of my favorite doggy toys, and...
Sorry, I have a dinner date with Bert.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm busy anyway, really.
Come on, Foofer. Let's pack it in for home.